get our first match of the day underway. It's always nice
the way you did that.
It ends up rhyming together. As punctuated as it may be. First bands are going to be Oregon and Coastline. And given the way that Nip struggled with Coastline yesterday against FaZe Clan, it's really no shocker to see it get taken out right away. That's going to set us up with Consulate and Clubhouse as our first two maps.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting setup there. And looks like we're going to have Border as the decider. All right, so we've got some really well-balanced, all things considered, Consulate, Border, two of the more well-balanced maps out there in Pro League right now, or any competitive siege, really. Clubhouse is, of course, going to be one of the more one-sided maps, and that's going to make for an interesting contest. So we'll see what actually happens there, but of course, defense, defense, defense. That's going to be the story. Who's starting on defense for Clubhouse is going to have a huge advantage early on, and this is really, really important, because both of these teams that are playing right now, Nip and Reciprocity, are incredibly momentum-based. Very emotional teams, and when they get into a groove, they're unstoppable. So whichever team is given some early rounds, no matter what side they're starting on, no matter what advantages they have, they're going to probably carry that forward into the rest of the map. Not potentially, the whole match, but also, maybe the whole series. We'll see.
I'm just excited. We're starting on Consulate here. It's a map that has skewed more towards the defender side of thing. It's so susceptible to strong operator bans. If you're playing on Consulate, if you're playing on Clubhouse and you ban a Thatcher, or you even ban a possible Bandit or a Mute or something along those lines, there's certain sites that become so difficult to be able to defend successfully, one of which obviously being that garage downstairs. But with no further ado, we will get into the very first match between these two teams. On the line, a record for Ninjas in Pyjamas, in which they are undefeated when it comes to making it out of group stages. And when you look at Reciprocity, Skies in particular, is undefeated against Latin America teams. Nip will ban the Blackbeard, a staple in Retro and Laxing's arsenal.
Having that Blackbeard gone is going to be, of course, very useful. I think just in general as well, Blackbeard is very good on this map. This is probably Blackbeard's best map. I'm trying to think about it now, but it's up there. It's top 2 for sure. And having him gone, definitely going to be a boon. It's the same thing with Valkyrie, actually. Both of these operators coming from the same DLC number 2, if I'm not mistaken, being probably most potent on this map in particular. And we'll also see Glaz and Echo gone. Those are much more basic bans that don't surprise anyone. Overall, this ban phase targeted heavily at the map, but also going to be targeted at individuals, as you said. That's a smart ban phase. Whenever we see a match without Echo, I personally feel like we're going to get a better contest between the two teams, because Echo can be such a dominant power. Yes. No matter who you are, it can be a pain to deal with that Echo drone. And Maestros are annoying, yes, and they serve a very similar purpose, but they're also easy to directly counter. And I don't think many teams struggle with that. Bring a little bit of soft destruction, whether it's Ashe or Zofia, and you're good to go. Speaking of, this is quite interesting. We're seeing a 6-pick off of the Ashe into the Capital, and they know that Maestro is going to be played, obviously, because, I mean, there's no Echo. You're going to bring a Maestro. So the only thing that that is available right now to counter those Evil Eyes is going to be Sledge, using the grenades or the Hammer. And that's tricky. It's not ideal. Of course, in a way, Dokkaebi will also serve that purpose, but less directly. Thatcher as well, but again, less directly and not permanently. We'll see how it plays out, though. Ninja Pyjamas will be taking the top floor to start things off. Not surprising in the least. And we have a castle being brought. Probably one of his best sites is this top floor. You can do a lot to support the site hold using castle. For example, this one right here is going to allow whoever's playing the mirror window in the kitchen to rotate freely without having to worry about holding on to printer. Very powerful castle barricade there to support his squad.
There's a lot of different places that you can put castle on this site in particular. You know, you can use them to possibly hold off connector, so you can have a bit of a safer, almost a vault in which you can play. You can try and take out, admin, as you just noted there, being able to play just inside of that small desk. You can do it on yellow stairs if you really want to. So there's lots of opportunities for you to maximize the usage of these castle reinforcements. We just noted that we saw one on the double doors heading in towards the bomb site and console office.
What that means is you can play by a big desk and long desk without having to worry about somebody rappelling on those B windows, where otherwise the angle would be opened up. Also worth noting is I believe that mirror window in the B doorway is prepped. It might have 11 melee hits on it, which means that one single melee is going to destroy it. That's a very interesting angle that's easily accessible to Reciprocity because we've got some unreinforced walls. It looks like Ninjas in Pyjamas are trying really hard to hold on to yellow stairs so that they can also hold on to B using yellow stairs. Reciprocity might be able to abuse this.
Yellow stairs is an interesting gambit because when you lose it, you tend to lose it real hard.
Yeah.
But we have seen so many teams as of the last couple months putting a concerted effort in yellow stairs holds, whether it be with the Jaeger doubling up his ADSs at the top of the stairs. And you've got all those rotate holes, as you noted.
Yeah.
Bottom of Cubby is shot out. The side wall allows you to rotate as well. So it's working for the time being. You've used about 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah, we're coming down to the last minute right now, and this is tricky for Reciprocity. I think they're getting a little distracted by this position. They don't have nearly enough information. That's going to be a wasted fireball, but he's just trying to be better safe than sorry. And Skies will die to Psycho, playing the bottom of yellow stairs. So when you see a setup like that on yellow stairs, you could see Retro is, threading the needle here between these two different angles, and he's looking for a potential pick, but it's unlikely that he's going to get one. As nobody's going to be peeking into that angle unless they're already aware that it's not being covered. Luckily for Reciprocity, Laxing has called out that he has pushed into admin office, and it looks like they will have just barely enough time to rotate, but it's going to be close.
They've only got one set of smokes to work with. They've still got 2 frag grenades unless they've been used on yellow stairs, which is a very high likelihood. All things considered, Psycho grabs his second kill, but immediately traded off by Mark. Laxing heads on around and he sees the Jaeger, but what a shot from Pino to take out Laxing. It vaporizes him right on the top of Spiral Stairs. Retro and Mark are in a great deal of problems now as Kamikaze as well as the Toxic Canister of WOG do a joint effort to take the Thermite down, and Retro will just be sitting on the balcony. He doesn't have that diffuser. He'll need to grab it. His smoke gets eaten by an ADS. Just wait 2 seconds. You don't need to give it to them, but he will anyway, and Kamikaze grabs a big kill to give Nip the very first round.
Oh, rebuffed it every single attempt there. That was a pretty definitive round. I think Ninjas in Pyjamas had every single potential push on lock. The only thing they didn't account for was the late rotate into admin office, but it didn't end up costing them because of Pino's excellent shot there onto Laxing. I gotta be honest as well, I have no universe that I expect Pino to win that fight. He should have died to Laxing, who had the advantage and unfortunately was unable to capitalize. So overall, Reciprocity way too distracted with yellow stairs. They spent too much time there. Then following that, they also lost a player on 2 yellow stairs. Now with Skies downstairs outside trying to push in from below. Following that, the rotate into admin office came with 30 seconds remaining in the round, which meant the players on the far west side of the building could only rotate to the A balcony, which is not a great position when you've got smokes, or rather gas canisters from smoke, still available. So little time, and the A balcony being so exposed to that, so vulnerable to that play from Nip, and that's, well, all Nip really needed to do to lock out the round.
So we'll head downstairs to garage for site number 2. The castle, you'll likely see one of those barricades probably go on bathroom, so you can play up top. You probably see one go on the yellow stairs, that'd be my guess.
Also putting some by Z as well. Looks like they're going to want to roam by bathroom.
5 seconds
Pretty
remaining.
typical to see a bathroom presence upstairs, especially when you've got Mira available. You can put one of Julio's black mirrors up top inside a bathroom, be able to hold down piano. That ends up being a very strong position to play out of because it gives you control over one of the most important areas for the attackers, which is the piano area. All that floor is completely soft. You see Skies on the buck. It's going to be very important that Skies makes a home in that piano area.
Yeah, once you get control of piano as an attacking team, you just start opening up, and all the anchor positions inside a garage become really hard to hold, and usually it will cost you. This is quite interesting. We've got the Buck being brought here from Reciprocity. So potentially all their eggs in one basket here, because if the Buck gets taken out, there's no breaching charges on Ash, which is going to limit their soft destruction potential. Skies has to be sure he's not the first pick this time around, and he can be certain of that after Retro takes out Pino. Psycho also eats some damage. Good start here for Reciprocity. One of the roamers on the top floor not expecting a presence on CEO windows, clearly.
I was really wondering what Pino was doing, as Psycho's also taken quite a bit of damage, and this is an early clear for Reciprocity up top. You got good map control on that second floor, mind you. They have to transition it towards the basement. A lot of teams will only put one body on top of console, up towards the console site, but I mean, it really depends on what you're looking at here. Similar to a map like Oregon, where you can stack 1 or 2 bodies up top and keep another on the main floor as well.
So as we just saw, the cameras have been hacked. The Dokkaebi coming in very useful here. With Maestro in play, this is also going to be very good. Skies will take out Julio as well as Wack. So a double for Skies, potentially on the roamers, and looks like he also got somebody inside a kitchen. That's the power of the soft destruction that we were referring to earlier. Having taken care of those players is going to be great. Looks like Kamikaze also shot his teammate just now. Psycho going to be on a little bit less HP. I could be wrong about that, but he is still very low no matter what.
It's a Desperation C4 that does not connect. Still utility in spades for Reciprocity, but even more so. Fragging potential with only 2 bodies to find. Oh, laxing. Not even looking. Psycho evades the frag grenade, and he gets away scot-free. It's going to be a Dokkaebi versus a Maestro. As Retro takes a tiny bit of damage, that SMG-12 will have to out-wield and out-duel that Alda. It's an easy kill for Retro. User aborted by Mark as the Mark's coming in. Pardon the pun. And Retro, a colossally large round. Take 3 kills, and he'll ride it all the way to victory on Garage, as both teams will tie it up 1-1.
I gotta say, if you can handle the recoil of that SMG-12, it becomes probably one of the most powerful weapons within about 5 meters of engagement. That's definitely something that Retro made full use of in that round. A good addition to this team, and you know, I remember when he first got brought onto the roster initially, it just looked like they were going up and up, and then again, once Skies got brought onto Reciprocity, they became such a powerful squad, and that's a good round for them as they just attacked the bottom floor. I mean, night and day difference between how they were attacking the top floor as well, but I think that mostly comes down to Ninjas in Pyjamas. The defense from NiP on the top floor was amazingly well established. They had accounted for every eventuality. On that bottom floor, they were a little bit vulnerable on their roam. We saw that early pick for Retro. Following that early pick, there was quite a few more from Skies, able to use that skeleton key to great effect. And it just looked like Ninjas in Pyjamas didn't have enough presence by bathroom. The actual bathroom roamer got picked off, like I said, by Skies. And I would have imagined if the early pick, that castle upstairs of Pino, had been playing by bathroom to support his teammate, we might have seen a different result there for NiP, because they were reliant on vertical control.
I mean, Sky's got 2 kills also in the span of 20 seconds to clear that entire floor.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got 1 upstairs, skeleton keyed downstairs, and got another one.
Right, onto Wog.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
He's playing below, and I think it's a wise choice for NiP to dive off of the castle at this point. You know, bringing a Legion in place, essentially. You got Psycho swapping onto the Legion and Pino taking over the Bandit. Pino showing a lot of flexibility as he's taken 2 separate roles now from other members of his team. I think the Legion is just a much better choice. Number one, the biggest issue with NiP was that they didn't really know where Reciprocity was coming from on that push. They didn't know that Retro was going to be playing upstairs on console. They didn't know how swiftly Skies was going to be able to take piano. I mean, you've got Valkyrie and Echo Band. So other than a Maestro, you're going to be relying a lot on Amira, maybe a Pulse. So what do you go with? You go with the Legion. Not only does he slow down the advance of your opponents, but he also alerts you as to where they're coming from.
I also have to really give praise to the Valkyrie band from Team Reciprocity. We've talked about this a lot in the past, but Valkyrie is Latin America's go-to. Oh, wow, what a kill from Skies. Early on, Wag will go down. And these early picks, this is what crippled Ninjas in Pyjamas the last time they defended the basement. But yes, I have to give credence to the band from Reciprocity. I'll get to it later. Psycho will take out Laxing. So this is a good refrag here from Psycho. An aggressive run out on the projector balcony, and it will be an equal man count again.
Not a moment after Psycho silences the first logic bomb. A second one will pop up, and this is being done solely for Foxy to be able to capitalize on finding this lesion. When you're in a 4v4, you can dispatch a hyper-aggressive fragger to be able to take one of them down. Looked like the Ash might have actually given his position away.
Got to be deliberate at that point. He clearly knew what he was doing, but that roamer is wasting so much time, and Psycho has gotten more than his life's worth of value out of this round, so he can also rotate through the drop down if he has an impact grenade, and that retreat being available is going to put Reciprocity in a tricky spot. They also potentially haven't opened up the garage. No, I can't quite tell, but yeah, it looks like they have not opened up the garage. We've got a mirror window placed on the garage panel, and because of that bandit tricking, it's quite easy. No vertical control means you can't counter the bandit from above.
It's just time that is just being wasted right now, as Foxy is still in this tango upstairs with Psycho. The other thing with Psycho, those Legion mines that are available will be staying with him. They're not being used to help the team at all, which means for the rest of this push, as you now hear the garage finally get opened up as Skies takes out all those bandit batteries, it means that Psycho's not being the most effective. And there you go. You're actually going to see it get opened this time around, as it did actually give us a bit of a miscue sound-wise. Psycho still hasn't been spotted. He's just waiting so patiently down by Visa, waiting at Spiral Stairs for somebody to be there, but he's going to have to hurry and hasten his advance back to the site. Mark going for a defuse, he falls off. Foxy tangling with the Maestro. Kamikaze walks away with that one. There's Psycho coming back in. He takes out two. A monstrous round, and Skies is nowhere nearby. And it's just going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas on flank, sealing the deal in this round in particular, and Reciprocity not knowing where that Legion was and not being able to hang on for the ride.
Okay, so first, while it's hot, that round was really well played from Psycho. Not only did he get an excellent run out on that A balcony, he then wasted so much of Fox's time, but not only Fox, but all of Reciprocity. You could see Dokkaebi was using his gadget to try and hunt down the Legion. Nobody was droning for Fox, and that's why Fox didn't push into admin. If he had had one person droning for him, and Reciprocity were allowed to commit, I'm sure that Fox would have been able to bring it back to equal man count, and the push into the site would have been much easier. On top of that, because the attackers isolated Yellow Stairs apart from Psycho, and they had utility to cover the plant, it probably would have been a post-plant situation. And as you know, post-plant on basement, when you're planting just inside of garage, it's unlosable for the attacking team. So a huge blunder there from Reciprocity, a lack of commitment on clearing out the roamer, and that's what ended up costing them in the end. 3K for Psycho, and oh boy, what a round. Again, to finish my thought earlier, from earlier, Valkyrie ban from Reciprocity. Really smart. Every Latin American team has a Valkyrie player that usually excels at playing that role. The information that a lot of Latin American teams gather is somewhat reliant on the Valkyrie being available. You can see Ninjas in Pyjamas, for example, in this case, are bringing a Mira. And why are they bringing a Mira? Well, it's partially because Mira is always useful on pretty much every map. On Consulate, not so much, and not nearly as much as other maps, but still useful nonetheless. And it's also because you need to compensate for the lack of a Valkyrie with other information operators. You've got the Maestro, but that's just not enough. And yeah, I think it's a good pick here from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and one we can expect them to bring quite a lot.
Additionally, it's also one of Julio's mainstays as an operator. It's, of course, been able to have so much success on, and obviously, when you main an operator, you want to try to bring it as often as possible. Mira can enable a very informed playstyle, as you said, an information gathering operator, so to speak. A lot of times you'll put a mirror window up on connector, be able to police console office, but then if you get pushed on connector, then that mirror window ends up being your undoing. You can also end up being vulnerable from the balcony over by projector too. So plenty of places to put it, but I think you're very correct when you point out the fact that even when Mira goes unbanned on Consulate,
it doesn't
get used all that much.
Yeah.
There's also the destructibility of the floors here as the ADS gets burned, and there you go, say goodbye to the castle barricade. Back to the castles if we're going. And I mean, hey, it did work for them on console office last time around. If you recall, all the action occurred the final 20 seconds out on that balcony. Retro was left to essentially wait until he died, and that was the first round for Nip. This time around, not as much of an admin take. It's, again, a very heavy console take. What a great shot from Retro. Call out, and it's an itchy trigger finger, but he'll hit it onto Log.
He's looking for Julio as well. He's just off the angle. On low HP as well. One single shot gonna take down that Mira.
Oh,
what a nade.
Doesn't take too much when a frag grenade lands at your feet. Psycho there to take out Skies, and you'll lose the buck, but there's still another grenade available to Foxy, depending on where they are.
There's 2 defenders downstairs and 3 defenders total. This is really dangerous for Ninjas of Pyjamas. Kamikaze is the linchpin in this situation, and with the Dokkaebi phone calls coming out, that's going to slow down the rotation for these players downstairs. Tricky situation for sure. As soon as Reciprocity is aware of how much control they truly have, they will go for a plant, and it will likely be very easy. Psycho attempts to rotate back to site, but is cut down in the process. Laxing also takes out Kamikaze, and it's just Pino in a 1 versus 4. If anyone's going to clutch it on this team, it's going to be Pino, but it's very unlikely. He'll win. No, he will not. Laxing shuts him down, and it was a nice try there, but that's payback for the fight we saw earlier on Spiral from Laxing, and Reciprocity taking their first win on the top floor, their second win total.
Very surprising to see how close Reciprocity's been able to get this diffuser down, but it's not a priority for them at all. They are not using good time management to be able to take site control, and that's 2 things for me. Either 1, they're not setting themselves up to necessarily go for an actual take in which they get that diffuser down, or 2, they don't have the information to know that they have full control to be able to plant that diffuser.
It's partially, I think, the control. Reciprocity's droning today has not been amazing. It's been there, and it's been enough for Reciprocity to make it work. But I also think it's the fact that they're playing against Ninjas in Pyjamas. I mean, sometimes when you're playing against an opponent that's so good at countering those plants like Nip, you really just have to play for the frags. And remember the 1 round where they were truly committed to a diffuse plant? That was their attack onto the basement, the second one. And when they committed to that plant, they ended up losing. Why? Because Psycho came from Yellow Stairs. There's not enough information being gathered from Reciprocity in that round. They don't have control of Yellow Stairs, and that plant ended up costing them. But that round on attacking onto the basement where Reciprocity did not go for the fuse plant, instead just went for pure fragging power, they eventually were, I believe they were starting it towards the end there, but they were clearly going for the frags. Retro managed to get it as the plant was down, actually. They ended up winning it. So Reciprocity, I think going for just, you know, the challenges and the fights are actually coming out on top usually. If they go for that objective play, it has cost them in the past. They are, of course, focused on objective all round.
You can also trace Reciprocity's roots back to Cloud9 when they had Goddess in the position to have to plant and not Mark.
True.
And there were so many rounds where Cloud9 seemed almost allergic to being able to get the diffuser down. Positions in which you're in a 4v1.
Right.
Or a 4v2, and you have full control to be able to get the diffuser planted, and you still haven't. And that is a trait that seems to have somewhat, at least, carried over to Reciprocity through this matchup.
Yeah, for those of you unaware, Cloud9, the previous name of Reciprocity, previous org of Reciprocity, and pretty much the same team minus 1 player.
I don't know if Kamikaze was trying to peek out of the window on Yellow or not, but
yeah,
he's going to get droned out here, and Skies can see him. Pino runs up to grab the Maestro and pick him back up, and there's no capitalization, but oh, there's Retro! Takes out Kamikaze, a little too slow on the beat.
Angle.
Possibly could have taken out Pino as well. It's narrowly close to being able to get a bullet pen kill onto what appears to be either the mute or the smoke.
I think there's a hard wall between him and that player, but
it might be, yeah, it might be to the left of the doorway leading into meeting hall.
It looks like he's just trying to open up angles, and Retro has been on that rappel this whole match. Every single round, no matter what site he's attacking, Retro is on CEO rappel. He's aware of how much control of top west it gives him, and he is also aware how much Ninjas Pyjamas rely on their top floor roam.
He's essentially going to work as artillery, being able to lob volleys in with those logic bombs from far away, not have to expose himself whatsoever to any real danger.
Yeah.
So he's used 1 logic bomb, he's still got a minute and 15 left with the work here, and a 2nd logic bomb available. The only downside to Retro's position is that if he dies, now with the final logic bomb ringing away, your 2nd set of smokes go. You still got Mark there on the Capitao as a hard breach is being foregone by Reciprocity. But the dying minute, you're going to need to transition into an execute at some point. Here we go. You don't need to worry about plating that diffuser down, as Mark will finally start to stick the landing. Woo! Pino is there to take out 1 after 2 from Reciprocity come out. And now Pino will have to get in towards the site. There's Laxing to greet him, and it's all up to Wog, as the smoke will be in a 1v4. Diffuser down. Tough position, and it's not going to work at all. A near flawless round from Reciprocity, and they'll regain the lead. And in fact, they won't regain the lead at all. They'll take the lead for the first time, and Nip will take a tactical timeout.
Good timing here for Ninjas in Pyjamas to take a tactical timeout. I think it's necessary. See the mic is down there on the coach, and he's going to be trying to relay to his squad what's going on. That last round, very impressive from Retro. And again, I want to backtrack, because you were talking about how Retro has been using those logic bombs to support his team indirectly without actually having to participate in the match, while at the same time, he's cutting off half of the top floor from CEO window repel. Remember that castle barricade that we've seen when Nip defends the top floor? I mean, because Psycho is playing castle because he can't play Valkyrie. Of course, Valkyrie being Psycho's main. So he's bringing the castle, he's putting that castle barricade on the CEO doorway. That's cutting off the angle that Retro would use and is using on every other site that is not a defense of the top floor. With that angle from big desk to long desk, you cannot roam upstairs. And Retro has been such an influence on every single round because of that. Again, no matter what the site is. And it's, again, partially due to the fact that Ninja's Pyjamas rely so heavily on a top floor roam. They keep losing players upstairs, and it's costing them so very much. So they need to do one of two things. Either A, find a solution to Retro on that repel, take him out, doesn't matter how, but just figure it out. There's many options available because this is Consulate. It's a pretty dynamic map. Or option B, stop roaming top floor. Figure out a different way to compound your roam and still influence the round and still have them in play, because roaming on this map is pretty important.
I feel it's rare in this day and age to lose control of the top floor of Consulate without having to worry about admin. That's the big thing. Like, you have no Blackbeard. You have no glass. Two of your biggest tools to be able to cut down lines of sight and hold angles with soft destruction and spades, on this map in particular, you don't have. You're relying solely on a Dokkaebi to do that, and you're doing it on console office windows, usually a spot on the map in which teams don't outright contest because you're usually so exposed. There's a jump out possibility from piano windows. There's a jump out possibility from the stairs on yellow. There's a jump out possibility or a run out possibility from the bottom of yellow. There's three ways that can't all be covered by eyes and by claymores to be able to take somebody down on console window. And there's one guy, the smallest member of Reciprocity, but the mightiest mouse right now in Retro, holding that position down. And he's not even really relying on his utility to do that because his smokes have been inconsequential to these rounds.
And that's the beauty too, because outside of the smokes, his main gadget has been incredibly useful for the rest of the team. Not so much him on that repel, but he's on that repel. And some people might say wasting away. He has been getting frags there, but imagine he's not getting frags. Imagine he's just cutting off the west side roam on the top floor.
I'm imagining that he's not getting frags.
So what he's doing there is he's making sure Reciprocity doesn't have to worry about top floor roam. Following that, if it's any other operator, he's just doing it. That's it. That's all he's doing. But because it's a Dokkaebi, he's able to repel there and use his phone calls to help everybody else out. So it's very powerful, a very potent position there from Team Reciprocity, and I love to see this from Reciprocity because they will bring out some really clever things like this from time to time. Very impressive. Now, Ninjas of Pyjamas here in this round going to be defending the bottom floor, and this has been, I think, one of their better sites. Of course, they have lost it once, but the time that they won bottom floor was really, I think, decisive, and it had to do with Psycho having an excellent round. He was playing on that Legion. He went for the run out on the projector balcony, managed to take somebody down, and then he came back to yellow stairs, and he got a two-piece, which salvaged the round for Ninjas of Pyjamas because there was no other denial to take care of the plant just inside a garage.
The elusive man, we could call him.
We could, yeah.
And he did so with very minimal utility. Fox A was completely blind, had no intel, ain't nobody drowning for him. The rest of Reciprocity was too preoccupied elsewhere. 2 logic bombs were actually used to try to flush out Psycho's Legion.
It wasn't enough, yeah.
Now, I just wanted to give a very small update to our other matchup that is going on right now. The very first match between FaZe and Fnatic is a 5-1 lead for Fnatic at the moment.
Whoa.
On border, map number 1. Rizraz, a round or two ago, I can't exactly recall when, just got an ace, by the way.
No way.
So, boy, Rizraz, good job for you. That's, of course, on our main channel, twitch.tv/Rainbow6. Not that we want you to change the channel.
Please, we're lonely here over at Bravo. Stay with us. Fox A going to take out cameras, and this is a clear of the top floor, completely established, which means that Retro will not have to linger on those CEO windows any longer. He can come in to support his team directly. Top floor control, very important. They're going to go for middle floor control next, as Reciprocity has shown us throughout this match. They like to clear from top to bottom. Wag is going to be the one to try and stop them, and this is a great operator for this situation. I would probably do the mute, but he's trying to support from Spiral. That would less run the risk of losing utility on the smoke. But he's actually using those gas canisters already to hold on to top floor. And it looks as though he might have fallen back. Yes, indeed. No roamers at all currently for Ninjas of Pyjamas, at least vertically. And that is a huge gamble because Skies is playing Buck.
This has been a bit of a change for Skies. He's been playing Buck quite extensively.
He's been doing well with it.
Months, yeah, and he's been doing great when he keeps with the team. We've been very critical of Skies' contributions, as he hasn't exactly been, I don't want to say the best team player, but he does play very alone. It was something that Laxing has received criticism for as well.
I think he works well on this team. I think the Reciprocity that we see right now, it's the best team that Skies has ever played on in terms of he is working well with this squad, and you love to see it. I think a lot of people have been waiting to see it, and you know, Skies has a lot of fans because he's a very skilled player, working well on this team. I mean, it just makes him even better. Reciprocity's up against a wall right now. They only have 20 seconds.
And there's still everybody alive.
Yeah.
Which usually means that about hell is about to happen here, as it's literally going to be hell in a cell. Mark going for a plan amidst the smoke. Sky's waiting for a push on the main floor. Mark falls off, goes back on. It's 2 for Reciprocity. Looks like the third, as Fox A is just going to hold the position, and it's a drop. The C4 will miss. Kamikaze is there, but oh no! Reciprocity coming in spades. They're killing everybody so much, they're even killing each other. But Kamikaze keeps it so close as Mark gets the plant down. It's very low HP for the Maestro as he'll try to find exactly where the thermite is. Diffuser is about to hit the halfway mark, and Kamikaze is one shot from that 5.56 of the thermite away from death. But this is a very difficult site to retake, especially when that whole wall is open. And if you mess with Mark, well, they say you get the shark, and indeed, it'll be a chomp out of the defense of Nip. And Reciprocity will take the first half 4-2. And Mark finally able to get that diffuser down. He only did it twice, but what a recovery for Reciprocity.
Very well played there from Reciprocity, but honestly, they got a little bit lucky. It came down to Ninjas of Pyjamas having almost no control over the basement. A surprising fact indeed. When Nip went for that retake, everything fell short. 2 C4s missed their mark. No kills from either. The gas canisters, some of them already having been expended on the top, or rather the middle floor, were ineffectual. The Evil Eyes as well. No real result there. Could have been because of the phone calls from the Dokkaebi, but it doesn't really matter. In the end, all of the counter-plant utility from Ninjas of Pyjamas fell short. Accomplished nothing. And following that, Reciprocity, oh man, they fragged out. They had a fest. In fact, so many frags that they even got a team kill. So 6 kills there for Reciprocity in total. And it's a good round. It's a good round indeed. It's worth noting that while Kamikaze came really close to clutching that out, there was almost no situation or no reality in where he's going to hit the shot onto Mark in that scenario. Like we talked about, post-plant, almost unlosable for the attackers on that basement.
Only caveat is if the defenders have multiple bodies.
Yeah, right, exactly.
If they outnumber you, then they can peek and you're in tough shape.
But it's still tricky.
But in a 1v1, the attackers, unless they are gravely wounded, or they don't actually have ACOGs, which Mark does when he usually runs the thermite, then you're in really good shape because you can go so far back, you've got the advantage of range, you can see much farther, and you just need to hold
good cover.
You're usually going to plant in an area where they can't long arm, defuse, you know.
It's a good setup. So here we go. Psycho is back on his main, unable to play Valkyrie for the first half, but now he can go on to Ashe and really does love this role. He excels at it as well, able to frag out quite a lot for his team, and having that power is going to be useful. This is interesting. Team Reciprocity have decided not to roam at all on the top floor. Fox A is going to get picked off very early from Julio. Looks like yellow stairs? Where was that pick?
How's your Heart Breacher getting the lead-off frag?
To a Legion. On a Legion as well, that's not great.
We are all many shades of confused at the moment as to where Fox A was playing.
Must have been in the basement. I mean...
Gotta be?
No? Weird. Well, whatever. Early pick there for the thermite. Oh, there it is. Yellow stairs. His corpse laying on the floor. So he was trying to peek, I guess, on yellow stairs. Maybe just put down a Legion trap, but it doesn't matter. It cost him his life. And that is not a great start for Reciprocity. Good job to Julio. And free kill's a free kill.
Yeah. So Psycho's in, just waiting, ever so patiently, as you lose one of the bodies, and of course somebody who is a very strong operator on that basement floor, because there's usually only so many ways you can get into the site. But it takes a while. The buck upstairs, a little bit of a telegraphed play, as the C4 will connect with the Canadian soft breacher, and you say goodbye to the only set of frag grenades that Ninjas in Pyjamas have, which is going to allow them to play a little bit freely. Because number one, your ceiling slash the floor of the attackers is still intact. You don't have to worry too much about being pushed from above, and you don't have to worry about any frag grenades, any expected surprises getting dropped on top of you. Also, keep in mind that Skies' ADSs will now be even more valuable because there's not going to be a frag grenade there for him to catch. And oh, speaking of Skies,
what an angle.
I don't think he was aware of the small hole above him. That's Psycho with a very easy frag, and he's going to look for another.
Oh, no.
Reciprocity, look up, way up, as Psycho will pick up 2 kills. And they will just move on, as this is Nip just continuing to roll. Kamikaze now takes out Laxing, and oh man, Mark sees the Ash for just a second, and somebody take Reciprocity to the optometrist, because they need their eyes checked after that one.
Yeah, that's tricky there for Reciprocity. There's...
I know that these uniforms make you a little bit more camouflaged. I'm aware that Ash doesn't have a hitbox, but she's not actually invisible.
Yeah, I know. That was a really difficult round, but I think it comes down to partially, yes, Reciprocity being a little bit blind in that round, but much more importantly, 0 roamers from Reciprocity, not a 1. I mean, the early pick that happened, Foxy, that wasn't him roaming. He was just playing on yellow stairs towards the basement. A truly perplexing setup there from Reciprocity. And because of that, Ninjas in Pyjamas were so able to efficiently clear out the top 2 floors. Following that, you soft destruction to get a plethora of kills. And it was an easy round for Ninjas in Pyjamas because Reciprocity had extended themselves exactly nil. I don't understand the setup there from Res, and I really hope that they fix it moving forward. They're going to go to the basement again, but again, it's essential that they roam just a little bit to waste time. I mean, it took Ninjas in Pyjamas only half the round to clear out 2 floors of Consulate. That's decent efficiency, and it gave them a lot of flexibility when attacking the basement.
I have to wonder what Fox's
5 seconds left.
Place was in the way that the team assembled their defenses. Because as you noted, there's very little roaming. There wasn't a ton of map control they were holding on to. Where are you going to put the Legion? You're likely going to use those goo mines to anchor down yellow stairs. You're likely going to put them over towards spiral stairs and just sit and wait. And throwing your life away as Foxay did, not ideal. You've also got impact grenades, if need be, to open up lines of sight. The C4 to take out the buck looked like it was going to be so difficult for Nip to be able to make anything of that round because your soft destruction in piano is so crucial. But it all came down to Psycho doing the job that had already been done by Pino on those small openings and just nobody bothering to look upwards towards where their opponents could be.
So, Ninjas in Pyjamas now droning out again, top to bottom. And once again, it looks like there are no roamers for Team Reciprocity. It's going to be a tricky one for them, because they've got all 5 downstairs. You can see one player on Spiral trying to get a little aggressive. That's probably Foxay using his Legion mines to slow down the push down the stairs. And probably a smart use of his gadget. Could potentially get a free pick depending on how Ninjas in Pyjamas decide to play this round. But no matter what, again, light roaming presence from Reciprocity is going to cost them. The buck is already in. He's opening from above. And if Reciprocity allow this to turn into more kills vertically, then we're going to see a pretty cut and dry round, just like the last one. Nip should walk away with it, and that would bring us to a 4-4. Reciprocity's gonna have to do something pretty magical to negate the vertical presence this time. Last time it was a C4, and even then it didn't matter.
That C4 was huge, though. I honestly can't believe that that wasn't a win for Reciprocity with the way that that worked out. It's just,
I mean, he'd already opened up so much of the floor.
Right, but I mean, at that same time, like, I mean, you know that the floor is opened up, right? Like,
it is confusing.
My argument was, okay, you don't need to worry about any new spots, but you still got to watch the same spots before. There was an Evil Eye that just went, was it not?
Very impressive.
Psycho, of course, here. Look at these great marks.
Good calls.
Excellent calls from Psycho as he's able to do double duty, not just fragging potential, but also be able to use those 2 breaching rounds.
They say Ash doesn't have utility, but
she does, and that's Retro now, who will be without two incredible tools. You mentioned before the low map control and presence from Reciprocity. Well, here you go yet again. Pino upstairs inside a piano. It looks like it might be a late flank from Fox. He doesn't have to worry about any possible flank watch. As you also see the Jackal of Kamikaze up top. There goes a mirror window. 30 seconds to go. Everybody's still alive. Hey, this is about to be an awful lot of fun, I think we can say. So Psycho's still above 3 bodies, actually, from Ninjas in Pyjamas, all in the same area. And there's another. His walk is up top, way up. Still trying to come back towards the site. Sky's picking up 2, one with a shotgun, pulls out the SMG-11, but Kamikaze and Psycho, no yellow control as Retro's there, but Kamikaze drops down, and that pure slugfest goes in favor of Ninjas in Pyjamas, which will equalize us, put us back at 4-4. And that's a good play from the Jackal, as it looked like Nip might be a victim of the clock, but they get in, and they get in just in time.
Fox got a little ahead of himself there with only 20 seconds left. He expected Ninjas in Pyjamas to be rushing to the site, so he pushed up the spiral stairs and died for free. Following that, Reciprocity at a man disadvantage in the slugfest were slotted to lose. Every single gun counts in that kind of a fight. So little time, both teams are just going to rush themselves in, throw their bodies at the problem, and Ninja Pyjamas happen to have more in that situation. Unfortunate for Reciprocity, but again, I would credit that to a lack of vertical presence from Reciprocity. No time being wasted. Because the attackers are given such a large cushion to use the vertical presence, I mean, we didn't see any kills. Unless you count those Evil Eyes. And those were pretty substantial. The Evil Eyes being taken out by the Ash, that was absolutely huge. It was a limiter on the information that Reciprocity were able to bring, and it cost them. Speaking of which, no more Maestro being brought. Instead, Reciprocity are going to adjust onto a Pulse, and I think that might be a great call. Since IQ is not being brought by Ninjas in Pyjamas, Pulse is a very powerful tool, especially here on Consulate. This is possibly one of his best maps, so at least it's up there. So this is going to be huge if Skies can make it work. And they're also bringing information denial, but apart from the Pulse, no other information operators on defense. That is risky business, especially on a map like Consulate that is so very shallow. This is where the Valkyrie ban really is going to hurt you. But it's also, Valkyrie is one of Team Reciprocity's most banned operators, so they're used to playing without her. And against Nip, I would say it's a really good ban again.
Yeah, it was a graceful recovery over those 2 rounds for Nip, and it's the aggressiveness that we know that they can deal with so well. Reciprocity struggling with the information game, as you noted. That Valkyrie ban, of course. I think we'll reference it a couple more times here. I like the Pulse, as you noted. I don't think Maestro's a bad operator, but his pick rate on Consulate doesn't strike me as being as high as a lot of others. Pulse can be a very strong operator because you see almost every Pulse playing downstairs by servers.
Yeah.
Over by archives, you can look all the way up because you've got the 9 meters range of that cardiac sensor. But look at what's happening right now.
Oh no.
Psycho is just walking up. He's found an open hole. And he's going to walk right in. Nobody knows he's there, Michael. There's no information to be relayed, and this could be a very easy kill for Psycho.
Wait, does he has a laser attached to his gun. Retro might be aware of this position. If he sees it on the wall, could potentially give away the play for Psycho.
Psycho's going to back off, though, even though the second floor control is completely his. He just doesn't know. But he hasn't been droned in or anything, Michael. He is as flying blind as Reciprocity was in the previous 2 matches, or in the previous 2 rounds. As MP5 gun barrel gets spotted, but Foxe is there at the last second, and a very tense moment for Reciprocity as another will come out for them from Retro onto Kamikaze, and the 2 best guns for Ninjas in Pyjamas will be taken off the board with a minute to go.
That was dangerous, but Pino's going to refrag onto Laxing, so at least there's that, a slight recovery, and even more so, as Julio eliminates Retro. The top floor roamers are gone. Foxe, the last one, will fall back to site. But the damage is done. Plenty of time wasted, and 2 bodies on the floor. Even man count, sure, but Reciprocity's in a great position to lock this out. They have Skies with his C4 in hand and using the heartbeat detector to call out one player pushing by yellow stairs. With that call, Reciprocity knows the general location of the take from Ninjas in Pyjamas, but it's a very spread out attack, and Wag is going to get an easy kill onto Skies playing by Z. A little bit of damage done to the Thatcher, but overall a free frag there for Nip, and it will be very advantageous when they go for this push. Mark the Shark trying to hold on to the spiral location, and he will down Wag. Aware of that now, adjusting for the main door, and he gets two. Just Julio in the 1v1, but there's no time. He's got to plant, and he won't commit to it. The defenders and Reciprocity will take that round thanks to their roamers upstairs.
Good time management ultimately by Reciprocity that was really given to them by Ninjas in Pyjamas, sending Psycho on a basically a suicide mission at that point. I was going to say on a kamikaze mission, but that'd be kind of funny because that's kamikaze. That's his job, right?
That's funny. High five.
High five, Kickstarter. Great joke, fellow adult. Anyway, so no, I was going to say they basically sent him on a suicide mission upstairs with zero information and zero intel, no drones whatsoever, and it bought Reciprocity so much time without Reciprocity after committing really anything at all.
I think I gotta really point a finger at Psycho. A little bit of trepidation on his part. I thought maybe that the laser sight would give his play away, but Retro didn't even notice it. If he had maybe just pushed in from long desk instead of adjusting to connector, I think he would have seen more success there. The reason he adjusted to connector instead of just pushing out long desk is more cover. Hands down, more cover. But the way that he was shut down was the player, I believe it was Foxay, inside of CEO, was playing an angle that he wouldn't have seen if the Ash had just pushed out from the main double door there, where you see Retro currently. So he is, of course, not omniscient, and he cannot know these things, but it's unfortunate that he didn't just commit to the push into bathroom. Would have gotten a free kill on Retro, and that could have cascaded for Ninjas in Pyjamas, especially considering there were 2 follow-up kills by the rest of NIP to equalize the man count. Ultimately, though, too much time being wasted. Like you said, clearing the top floor for NIP was not easy. And I hope that Reciprocity, or for Reciprocity's sake, I hope that they realize how powerful those roamers were, and realize that when defending the basement, they need to have a similar presence, because if they had wasted that much time while defending the basement, they would have won 2 rounds earlier.
I like this setup from Reciprocity a lot better. There's been very little change from Ninjas in Pyjamas side of things, and it's been working for the most part, so if it's, if it's not broke, why fix it? And I think that's the way NIP works. NIP have been a little bit too rigid, I think. We noted this yesterday in their matchup against FaZe. They didn't run an IQ at all on Coastline, which I think really would have helped them an awful lot. But
agreed.
Reciprocity, you put Skies on more of a fragging role. You have Pulse being one of Foxay's main operators. Put him on that position. Allow him to help IGL with Mark while he has that information. Put Laxing on a position where he can just kind of go off on his own, play that lone wolf and not really have to worry too much. And then you've got Retro and Mark just locking down the site. I think this works a lot better, and it actually appears that Laxing might be waiting for the calls to break out of this yellow doorway and go for a pick on the windows. But I mean, there's nobody playing up there. Also, important to note, it will be Reciprocity's very first crack at the console office site up on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, and it's going to be a slow take here from NIP, mostly for, oh, what a run out from Laxing. He committed to the CEO vault, and because he prepped this doorway, he'll be able to just one-tap it right on back in, and that's a clear and clean run out. You don't see those often on console, but they do happen.
Foxay repositioned, expecting a push from Visa's side to try and capture Laxing as Laxing was coming back in.
Wait, what?
There's control upstairs.
Where's the Evil Eye?
It's completely cut off. The site is NIP's for the taking, and they will take it indeed. It's a successful plant, and NIP will get away like gangbusters as Kamikaze holds down the long hallway, all the way to long desk, and Team Reciprocity are about to be boxed out of their own site. They had an opportunity to move to match point, and it looks like it might be squandered for the time being, as this is as routine as it gets from NIP. Sky's doing his best as his entire team falls around him. And Mark's coming out on multiple windows, and there you have it. An excellent execute from NIP. And what happened? Reciprocity put too many eggs in the basket, and NIP blew up the damn basket.
Yeah, so that was a full stack from Reciprocity to hold B. Everything was set up to hold onto the B bomb site, and it was an A take. That's it. That's all it is. I mean, you guys couldn't hear it very likely, but one thing that's great about casting next to where they're playing and it being a pretty quiet venue is I could hear the comms from Reciprocity. As soon as that plant went down, they were shocked. They had no information on that plant. No idea it was happening. And as soon as it went down again, it was elevated comms to Reciprocity. They started adjusting to try and compensate for the situation. But, I mean, it was too little too late. A post plant on A, it's so difficult to retake into.
And you have Foxe underneath the site with a cardiac sensor.
I don't know what's going on there.
But I think he was too busy expecting a push from either Spiral or over on Visa.
Again, it's the B setup.
It's also just Reciprocity not being able to relay what they need to know to one another accurately. That's all.
True. Well, no, I think nobody knew about, again, because of the shock that I could hear from over here, from Reciprocity, I don't think they were at all aware that the A push was even happening. They seem to be completely caught off guard. Peculiar round, to be sure. Again, I was wondering the whole time where the Evil Eyes were.
We do have an update for you just about half a minute ago. Fnatic taking map number 1 against FaZe Clan by a score of 7-3 as we are being given that information now. So congratulations to the Aussies. They are one single map away from being once again on the main stage of the Invitational. If you recall correctly, they defeated Team Liquid to have that honor in the Invitational last year. Well, they've got another Brazilian team that they're going to have to beat in order to have so again.
Did they come through the loser bracket, though, in the last one? Would this be the first time they would, if they make it, would this be the first time they've gone straight through with the double win?
Yes, because I believe it was the last day. Because that bracket was Liquid, Room Factory, Mind Freak, and...
Well, whatever. Yeah.
It was Rogue.
Whatever the case, I think so far this has been the best showing ever, possibly from Fnatic. And it's early days still. They could lose that series. They've been looking very strong, and a lot of people expected them to lose to Reciprocity in the match earlier.
The more worrisome factor is that you're gonna have FaZe, if they lose to Fnatic, having to go up against the winner of this team.
Right.
That's the winner of this matchup, and either of these teams are going to be strong. I mean, FaZe is probably wanting a rematch. If FaZe loses to Fnatic, they probably want a rematch with NiP.
Of course. So, early damage done there to Retro, and oh no! How did... So, he could have gotten a kill there. He decided not to go for it. I'm not entirely sure why. He wants to remain unknown outside of B, I suppose. What a blunder there from Reciprocity, gone unnoticed. But hey, they got away with it. Laxing still roaming, looking for potential runouts. Foxe all the way on the basement, very deep roam. And if he pulls out his cardiac sensor, he will see someone on the Visa stairs and call that out. Look at the call, there it is. And that could be a free kill for one of his teammates. Great information from the Pulse here so far.
It's Pino who's going to be spotted out as he's so close. He's only a couple meters away from being able to push into this A bomb site, which NiP took so swiftly last time with zero information being given from Reciprocity to the rest of his team. Not so much the case this time. Laxing finds Psycho, say goodbye to the Ash, and it's a very similar run-out. Last time around, Laxing did this previous round. He just did it this time too. Pino on those Visa stairs taking out one, but there's Sky's readjusting as Wog goes for the plant. This information that's being given. Diffuser goes down as Julio and Wog dropped, and Reciprocity in much better position to be able to hold off this A site as they have a 4v2 lead. 15 seconds to go. Sky's a beautiful hipfire shot that he might not have deserved onto Pino, and Kamikaze will be tasked with coming on in and grabbing that diffuser, but he's gunned down at the top of Visa stairs as Laxing gets kill number 1 and then kill number 5 to put a nice bow on that round and tie it off and move his team to match point.
You were talking about how rigid Ninjas of Pyjamas has been throughout this tournament earlier, and that was a great example of their rigidity. So Reciprocity got caught off guard the last time they were defending the top floor. They had no idea the push was coming into Projector, and they had no one set up to defend it. But Reciprocity, they adjust. They move some people to hold on to that site. They're aware of the possibility of that push now. And Ninjas of Pyjamas foolishly committed to it, expecting to catch their opponents off guard again? I don't know what they were thinking there. That was the same exact take. And we even saw the same exact pick from Laxing downstairs once again. So
They literally did the exact same thing.
It was identical.
Nip was like, let's just do it again.
Yeah, and this time they didn't catch their opponents off guard. They didn't have the advantage of surprise because of that. Reciprocity was able to take it.
I feel like it's a 50-50 when you find yourself in that position, though, right? If something works so well, your opponents aren't probably going to be like, you know what they're going to do? The exact same thing.
Maybe.
So then you can be like, hey guys, you know what they're not going to expect us to do? The exact same thing.
I don't know. If I'm Reciprocity and we forget to defend a site and because of that lose the round, I'm thinking to myself, we can't let that happen again. That's all I'm thinking about.
I mean, there was a couple changes. Number one, there was zero pressure on the connector window, which is what allowed Skies to play behind that reinforced wall inside a console office. He could see all the way down to the doorway leading to these stairs. You had Foxay playing underneath, unmoved from his position in the server, able to give that information away instead of playing down inside of main desk by spiral stairs. You had Laxing go for his run out and then immediately wait over on the Visa side to come back up, which is a recall that he didn't do in the previous round. So it was really Reciprocity making a couple minor adjustments.
Yeah.
Those changes were all it took to be able to counter exactly what was coming from Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, the mark of the greatest teams in the world is adjustment mid-match. Adjustment mid-round is also very impressive, but adjustment mid-match, being able to react to what your opponent is doing, is probably one of the most important tools you can have in your arsenal, and that's what we just saw from Reciprocity. Well, they're going to be going on to defense of the middle floor, and this is the second time Reciprocity's gone here. Last time they were successful. If they're able to win it, since they're on match point currently, they will take map number 1. And a long angle being played here from Psycho, trying to get a free kill. But this could be a gamble and a half. I mean, what you're witnessing here is Psycho spending money, that is time, to potentially get a free kill. Oh no, oh wow, Parker.
You got to imagine he meant to bring frag grenades.
Yeah, he's got breaches on Finca. That's a big no-no. When you can bring frags, you bring frags.
That's www.whoops.com right there, and it is currently being owned by the Finca of Psycho, but it's working out so well. The Adrenal Surge goes off, goodbye Retro, and this is a bulldoze for Nip for the time being to send us to overtime. So Foxay and Laxing will have to come back towards the site. This is going to be tough, and look at how close he is. Oh no, Foxay, he's on a drone! He's right there, Foxay, just push him! There you go,
That's
Foxay.
Diffuser!
And Diffuser is down on yellow stairs, but so much time available for Ninjas in Pyjamas to be able to grab that Diffuser kit and make a recovery. But if everybody's outside, you're going to have somebody go get it. There you go, it's picked up by Pino. He'll come on in, Psycho using the LMG, doesn't need frag grenades at all. And Foxay will have to evade the 3 members of Ninjas in Pyjamas. A successful plant started to go down from Pino, he fell off. And they'll just simply wait. They can box him out of the site very easily. This is lobby, and there's so many different ways for them to cover. Breaching charges or frag grenades, it doesn't matter because he's going to get those frags no matter what. That was a 3K, I believe, for Psycho on that round, and really well played for him and his team. And of course, we need overtime when it comes to these two teams.
Not surprised in the least. We will see Reciprocity get defense, so they get to hold first. Overall, we've seen a mixed result so far in this match. Reciprocity's attacks were really effective. Their defenses were less so. So it's been a little bit, actually, honestly, more attacker-sided. We've seen only 4 defensive wins so far. And that's pretty crazy, considering the meta we're in right now. But, yeah, I guess that gives the advantage very slightly to Ninjas in Pyjamas, but only slightly, I would say. Reciprocity is going to go to the top floor first. Not terribly surprising. So far, Reciprocity's record for top floor is 1-1, as is their record for middle floor, and they have lost both attempts at the basement. So going back upstairs, pretty much the same as going to the middle floor. But given what happened in the middle floor last round, I am not surprised by Reciprocity's decision in the slightest. Also, when they defended the top floor and they were fully covering both of the sites, it was a pretty easy hold for Reciprocity, gotta be honest. Ninja Pyjamas, again, very predictable on this take, and were countered pretty easily. I doubt that Nip are going to take the same exact way this time, and if they do, I very much expect it to work against them.
I mean, we saw Console Office go to Nip the very first time, and that's when they rushed in, right? They got that very early plant down, completely surprised, and caught Reciprocity with their pants down, essentially. And then, you know, Rec responded effectively enough, and they won it. So I'd imagine that, well, number one, Psycho is going to be running the Finca for the second time, and he's going to be doing it with a frag grenade, an operator who sees a lot of play in Latin America in comparison to every other region.
It's good that he's got the frags now.
Very good. I mean, he had the frags last round with 3, but, you know.
I guess they do make explosions happen, just not quite the same way. You can get kills with breaching charges. It's just exceptionally difficult. He's going to have control of admin office along with Hino, so this is a good take so far from Ninja Pyjamas. They're going to cut off a lot of pressure in A by just opening up that wall. That means they don't have to worry so much about the Visa Stairs flank if somebody remains in admin office from the attacking side. Foxe is roaming all the way downstairs, and he can have information on the top floor using that cardiac sensor, and he will be calling that out to his teammates that, hey, yeah, guys, it's going to be an A take once more. It's Pyjamas, good information gathering here. The retake potential here is very strong for Reciprocity.
I would imagine, I was going to say, they literally just fell off of Rappel. I was going to say, like, you got to imagine they're going to go for admin, right? Like, that would surely be it. They're not just going to go for, they're not just going to go for Visa Stairs and Balcony again. You can't do it a third time, Michael.
I mean, we'll see once it actually happens.
Possibly even see a yellow stairs push. The Pulse was spotted on the spiral stairs.
He moved.
I think he saw, I don't know if he saw the drone or not, but he's going to get off.
Yeah.
Get the Finca of Psycho repositioning to possibly pick him off.
They are really focused on getting this Pulse, and it's going to work out.
Oh, man.
Wow. From Metal Bar's window, Psycho will take down Foxe. That is a kill and a half right there, because it's one of the primary plant denials eliminated from Reciprocity. So not being able to deny the plant with the Pulse from C4 downstairs, really bad. Laxing will also be droned out as well downstairs. He has not gotten the pick. He's got a deployable shield that he has not used. So a lot of gadgets. This must be like some kind of bug or something.
No, Laxing's used.
But he hasn't used it though.
Yeah, but maybe it's a great play later on. I don't really know. Nip is going to continue to put this round in their favor as Julio absorbs an awful lot of damage, but he'll buy enough time for Wog to be able to get the plant down, and Nip will once again have full control. Adrenal Surge will come out just to give a bit more sustain. Wog and Julio back from the dead. They have a little bit more HP, but now it disappears, so they're back to flashing lights. Laxing and Mark will have a bit of adversity to go through, as there you go, another boost will go out to Psycho, and Mark using what little precious time he has left to bring his teammate back. It will put us in a 3v3. There's a pre-fire from Laxing, and then a fall off from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Wog takes out Mark, a great rotate from Psycho and Skies, who is back. Will need to use that carbine. He picks up one, he sees the leg, goes for a second. Oh, Skies will get it, but the time, oh no, the time, you have to stick to the fuse. Fight for your frags, but no, it's match point. Ninjas in Pyjamas looking to go the full distance. Valiant effort from Skies, but it's just not enough. And even if he had gotten the kill, Michael, he did not have enough time. So it would have been in vain, but some stat padding is pretty nice if that's all you can walk away with.
So, looks like we're going to see a tactical timeout. Reciprocity taking a second to gauge this situation, figure out what they can do to solve the problem that is match point Nip's favor. That last round was tricky, and then once again, Ninjas Pyjamas exploit a lack of presence on the A bomb site. Curious that was the case, though. I'm very surprised that Reciprocity had so little presence there and allowed a plant to go down uncontested. I mean, I don't know. They let it happen once before. They let it happen now a second time. It looked like they solved the problem, but no, not the case here.
So Reciprocity has a coach. It's Hopes, for those that aren't familiar. And a huge part of Reciprocity's success they pinned down on Hopes' contributions to the team. Now, not exactly sure why he's not behind them, but his absence is notable in circumstances in which a coach helps to center you. This is an emotional team, and when you take a tactical timeout as Reciprocity has, you could use that fixed point of a coach to help pull you back in it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the battle of the emotional teams, as we talked about at the beginning of the match. I mean, Ninjas Pyjamas and Reciprocity both very much momentum-based, and that's why it's so curious that we've seen back-and-forth swings here. I mean, Reciprocity in the first half, oh man, 4-2, and they won 3 in a round. You were thinking to yourself, I'm sure, that Reciprocity have got this, but Nip have brought it all the way back, and here we are, very much in Nip's ballpark. Only one round to end this. Bring us to map number 2. And this is curious. Cap Camp being brought from Ninjas in Pyjamas might actually trip up Reciprocity. We'll see how it ends up playing out. But that's a huge pick nonetheless. Whether it's effective or ineffective, it's pretty huge.
He's got 16 frags. Let the man do whatever he wants.
Fair enough.
I think at that point you're like, yeah, he's earned it.
He's having a match, man.
He's earned it.
He's having a match and a half.
Take it. Take it as you'd like.
You could see it's a very frag-oriented lineup from Ninjas in Pyjamas. I mean, they've even brought the Vigil. And I actually don't blame them for this. I really do not. I mean, remember the last couple times that Nip defended the basement. The Maestro did not help at all. The Evil Eyes were countered so well from Team Reciprocity. And yeah, I mean, if you need to go for that frag-oriented lineup to win in the engagement, then go for it. Remember when Reciprocity had 15 seconds, 5 versus 5, they rushed into the basement, they won? Yeah, I mean, put yourself on comfort picks. 100%. 100% in this situation. Also, if it comes down to 15 seconds and there's cap cans, then
you're gonna do so well.
Yeah, it's gonna really
You're gonna do so well, because even if you drone it and you know that there's a trap on that doorway, you don't really have the wherewithal to shoot it before you burst on.
It's just not time.
And the other way that defenders will play when they know that there's Capcan traps up, Psycho has likely told the rest of his team where they are, and you know that when there's 20 seconds left, Psycho will be communicating to the rest of the team saying, hey, watch that doorway, there's a trap on it.
Yeah.
You can just pre-fire the doorway, or if they go to shoot the Capcan trap, very similar to shooting a goo mine, very similar to shooting a frost mat. The attackers have to take a gamble and say, well, do I try to shoot at the player or do I try to shoot the trap?
And man, you start skipping those steps, really, when it comes down to so little time in the round. And, well, speaking of, let's get into the round. Retro has cleared out the top west roam on this map, but lo and behold, no roamers from Ninjas in Pyjamas upstairs. They have learned, Parker. They figured out that Retro is such a... he's omnipresent on that window, and there's no reason to challenge him. Better just not to roam on the top floor. Instead, roaming on the middle floor, they still have vertical presence, but it's not exposed to the counter that Reciprocity are employing in that Dokkaebi of Retro on that window. So, good job to Nip adjusting. And actually, they are going to start pushing upstairs. This might be tricky. Psycho's going for the challenge on connector door, and he's going to miss the shots. He's got some cap cans to support him, and he's going to do this again. He's wasting so much time. This is just like the last round when he was playing Legion on this top floor.
Just for old time's sakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is that Fox A is not going to be the one to try and receive him. Instead, Fox A missing out on the Vigil of Kamikaze inside of Tellers on that main floor and wasting such an immense amount of time. Fox A will now get shot at and under fire. He'll retreat once again as Psycho is there trying to find Fox A and hunt him down. But they're being distracted. 30 seconds, diffuser going down. Nobody seems to see Mark. There goes the C4. It will connect onto Skies. Mark taken out from Wog and Nip in the driver's seat as say goodbye to Fox A. Psycho wasting not just enough time, but also the life of Fox A. And oh no, Laxing and Retro as Psycho goes for the run outing. Laxing will not be able to clutch it out. The Brazilian powerhouse of Ninjas in Pyjamas will take map number 1, and one of the best maps in Reciprocity's map pool will fall to their opponents 8-6 and set us up for Clubhouse next.
I mean, in that last round, we saw a complete lack of control from Reciprocity on the yellow stairs, and once again, an inability to clear out the roamer who is on the other side of the building. I mean, yes, Retro has such a presence on the CEO windows, but it's only on the west side of the top floor. And because of that, Psycho allowed to roam on the complete opposite end. Nobody able to counter him because no one from Reciprocity is droning for Fox A. It's the same story as the last time we saw that situation playing out. Following that, yellow stairs, no control for Reciprocity, an easy flank for Ninjas in Pyjamas to take out the player, planting the diffuser. This time as well, the C4s did connect, so that's a big difference maker. Overall, a pretty one-sided affair for Ninjas in Pyjamas in that last round, and a very poorly established attack from Reciprocity.
The way that Psycho and Kamikaze were playing off-site was almost reckless. They had no support. They had no ability for a trade. You saw them upstairs when they were inside of admin. Where are they going to go if they get pinched? But the thing is that Reciprocity could have droned out admin, sent 2 bodies in, pinched them, and then just kept going, but they didn't.
But they didn't.
And they wasted a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And you've got Foxe with your soft destruction when you're attacking Garage as your sledge. Upstairs on the second floor with both sets of frag grenades. Good fragging potential and the soft destruction that you need. With 30 seconds to go, miles away, or might as well be miles away from the site. I don't know if it's just bad coordination. I don't know if it's frustration setting in with the team, but that was a very sloppy entry for a number of Reciprocity rounds. Even though Reciprocity did take 4 of their 7 opportunities on attack, that's still, it could have been a much higher number than that.
Yeah.
Also, when you got Psycho dropping 19 kills, it's going to be pretty tough to stop no matter what.
You had a really good match there, and overall, the way that it played out there for Team Reciprocity, they made a lot of mistakes that they just didn't correct over time. 2 defenses in the basement, 2 really easy rounds for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Why? Reciprocity didn't roam at all. Ninjas in Pyjamas had like a minute 40 usually when starting to play vertically onto the basement. They used their buck well, and when they didn't have buck available, Psycho was just opening holes himself and shooting people and Evil Eyes through it. So outright a fantastic map there from Nip. They were a little static, or rather a little stale in terms of their strategy. They didn't adjust very much, but they made less mistakes than Reciprocity. And many of the mistakes that Reciprocity made, they never corrected.
Right.
There was the one, of course, when they were defending the top floor. One time, they managed to adjust to defend A instead of fully committing to B on their second attempt. But then that somehow fell through the floorboards again when they went to their defense in overtime on the top floor. They didn't really account for A. The plant went down under cover of smoke very easily from the Dokkaebi. So I don't know.
I would say both teams made a whack of mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Ninjas Pyjamas made a ton of mistakes. Reciprocity made a ton of mistakes, but Nip made slightly less.
And I was going to say, there's the most notable ones and the ones that seem like you shouldn't be making them more than anything fall on Reciprocity.
Yes.
Nip made mistakes that happen from time to time in a match. They were punished very well by Reciprocity. When you get into a pressure cooker like LAN and you're playing up against top-tier opponents repeatedly, then you end up getting punished more for your mistakes than you do when you're playing online in a best of one or in even a qualifier series. But a couple of those rounds for Reciprocity. Improper droning. How do Nip take control of meeting upstairs, or as we refer to it as projector, and get a plant down when you have a pulse sitting under the site with a cardiac sensor? 0 intel. How do you have an Ash use preset destruction from a buck 30 seconds ago to kill 2 of your players without anybody knowing where you are? How do you fail to push somebody inside of admin upstairs when you have drones and you have enough bodies to be able to take out a roamer? These are very poor mistakes that ultimately those 3 rounds you end up with Reciprocity walking away with a 1-0 series lead. I don't know if it's poor comms. There could be a lot of frustration. On your screen right now, Reciprocity, they don't look very happy. Obviously.
Emotional team. And we're talking about both of them.
Yes.
Ninjas in Pyjamas and Reciprocity, both highly emotional teams. And we talked about this in the pre-match. If one of the teams is able to get that early lead and take map number 1, it's going to be very difficult for their opponents to come back and bounce into a third map in map number 2. So I would be impressed, exceptionally impressed by Reciprocity if they manage to bring us to a map number 3, just because of how emotional they tend to be. It will, I believe, come down to individual plays. Let's say you're in a 1 versus 4 situation and someone from Reciprocity clutches that round as the 1. That's going to be the sort of emotional swing that will bring you back for not only that map, but potentially the whole series. Yep. But something like that has to happen for Reciprocity. But not only that, we were talking about mistakes. Like, these were pretty calculated rounds from both teams. There were a few messy rounds where it came down just to the slugging, 1 or 2, to be sure. But overall, very well-established strategies from both teams, all things considered. And because of that, it's the adjustments, the minor adjustments that are going to be so much more, and who is able to most consistently adapt to their opponents. Because of that, we'll have a very interesting map on map number 2, since it's Clubhouse, which is one of the most strategically oriented maps, period.
And like I said, Consulate as well tends to be one of Reciprocity's best maps.
Yeah.
That is also a concerning factor for Reciprocity fans, is that you have a team that came in, and to a lot of people thought Reciprocity, there's no way they're not making it out of groups. There's no way.
I mean, they're looking like one of the Titans in NA right now.
People came in, Reciprocities looked great through North American Pro League. Adding Skies has been a major boon to the team.
Yes.
FaZe has looked very weak so far this season. Fnatic, always a question mark. They didn't have the best run in Paris. They had a bit of a freak showing in Rio, if we can be completely and brutally honest, with Dizzle coming in on the team. But you look at it and, yeah, I think a lot of people said Group A is a little bit more reasonable and a little bit more readable for Reciprocity here. Let's transition into Clubhouse, though, but before we get there, just a bit of a brief update and spoilers ahead. By the way, yeah, we got 2 streams running at the same time. We're going to be updating you about the scores going on to the other streams, so I apologize if you are gravely upset by this. We've had people be upset by this before, I believe, in DreamHacks and other live events, but hey, we're here to keep you in the loop.
Spoilers.
Fnatic are currently up 3-0 on map 2 over FaZe, and they have match point as well, or map point rather. So we'll see if they're able to beat the Brazilian team and make it to the main stage and get a nice 2-day break. Anywho, first ban's gonna be Monty, followed up by Hibana, then Mira. Reciprocity taking out both Valkyrie and Monte.
There's something exciting going on in that match right now.
There's so much shouting.
Wow. I mean, you guys,
I don't know if you
can
can
probably hear it.
I don't know if you can hear that.
It looks like a, oh no! Sorry,
Is it even?
We caught it.
What just happened?
Wow.
It sounds like FaZe Clan.
I hope you guys are watching the other stream right now. Definitely want to be watching the other stream right this second.
Don't turn us off.
Yeah, but definitely want to watch the other one.
Yeah.
We got a very exciting match going on over
Put them
there.
both up. You can have 2 browsers up at the same time.
2 streams. You got that dual screen
Split
setup.
screen, multi-Twitch.
Mm-hmm. You got
Buy
options.
2 phones.
buy 2 phones.
What? What's the matter? Don't you have phones?
Maybe a little bit more practical to have a phone and a computer, Parker.
Don't you people have phones?
Or just two monitors. Be cheaper. But anyway, in this match, sorry to get a little distracted, but again, something very exciting going on the other side of the building. Reciprocity versus NiP, and we have this second map starting up here. It's going to be Reciprocity on defense. They banned Monty and Valkyrie. Valkyrie, of course, one of Reciprocity's, actually Reciprocity's most banned defender, and very effective against a team like NiP. On the other hand, Montaigne, such a powerful attacker on Clubhouse, period. Doesn't matter who you are, and that's going to be a very good one for the attackers, or rather the defenders, no matter who you are. Again, Montaigne is also one of the more banned operators from Team Reciprocity. That's their 4th time doing it so far. Now, we also have Hibana and Mira being banned out. Hibana's going to make the defense of the basement very powerful. Interesting that it was NiP who banned Hibana first. That means that they're going to have to attack the basement and know that they don't have access to the Hibana. Less drops will be opened, but technically you can still open all of the drop downs. It is possible for Maverick to open 2 drop downs, by the way. It is just unusual to see because you have to be nearly perfect in your efficiency using that blowtorch, and very few players can actually pull that off. We also saw Mira banned out, which is curious because it was NiP who banned Mira.
I mean, to be fair, that's because NiP doesn't always play a Mira on every single site.
I mean, it's Julio's main, like you said.
Right, but you could have Julio play Maestro.
And I don't think we have many players. Like, Mira is definitely a factor. I mean, Mark's main is Mira.
Yeah.
But it's just curious, considering how in the last map we saw NiP using Mira, and we didn't see that much from Reciprocity at all, even.
Pretty close. This is pretty close to the Macy J strat here.
Mm-hmm. Is that called the Macy J strat? Are we doing that?
He did the perfect circle and he vaulted through.
I think Leon was actually it was probably the first one to do that.
It could be.
I want to say it was Leon, but I'm not sure. Either way,
credit where credit is due. It's still a way to get in quickly.
Yeah, I think that was like figured out day 1 with Maverick. But yes, we are going to be seeing some great Maverick use here from Ninjas of Pyjamas. Opening up that tunnel, going to be very potent. And it's one of the reasons that Maverick is very often banned on Clubhouse, because he can open the tunnel and he can do it silently.
Wog is just making every single thing go away for Maverick here.
Yeah.
As he takes out a castle barricade and then as well the soft destruction.
It's important to note that there is no Echo ban, nor a Maestro ban, but it's more likely that we're going to see Echo played currently. And he is going to be brought here from Laxing.
You think that Psycho is insane on most roles? Well, you have Psycho on Valkyrie, and it's just a terrifying thing. First kill's gonna go to Laxing, taking out Kamikaze. Say goodbye to the Zofia, and that's the Echo playing very aggressively inside a dirt tunnel. We saw him for just a second as the drone work was being done by Wog to try and determine the location, but everybody else falls off. As is commonplace on Clubhouse Basement, you don't have an awful lot of map presence outside of the halls around the bomb sites, because you don't really need it. Teams will take a minute and a half just to be able to drone it out. Relaxing gets finished off by Wog. Pino's there, and Psycho eliminates Retro as Retro fell Pino earlier on. Psycho on cam inside of blue as that information relayed to the rest of his team. The Yokai drone effect still affecting Wog as he sits inside a dirt tunnel, and it's going to be a pinch from Nip towards the back of Arsenal room. They walk right in. Foxay takes out Wog, and Psycho's now in 2. Foxay with 2, and it's Mark eliminating Julio, and Nip just get a bit too aggressive for Reciprocity's liking. It's a good read from the North American squad to be able to shut down round number 1, as the defense should be doing on Clubhouse. And keep in mind, if the defense don't walk away with at least 4 rounds, then they're in trouble on Clubhouse.
Yeah, if the defensive half for any team goes 3-3 on this map, then you lost it as the defenders, and the attack is in a comfortable position.
Yes.
So that's a good start for Reciprocity, but it's still early days in this match, and see CCTV room Cash as the next defense for Reciprocity. This is standard site selection thus far. Operator selection also pretty standard. No Yokai so far. No Echo being brought. Just curious. I would imagine he would be very useful in Cash. Maybe we'll see a 6-pick, but no, not the case. Gonna be going with the Doc. So we've seen Doc is straight up meta for North America on this site. And the reason is you can heal yourself, avoiding the Capitale bolts, and you're so by yourself as well when playing in the garage on top of that balcony that you really need self-sustain. Doc is, well, the self-sustain operator on defense. And while, yes, the Echo is very useful in terms of overall team influence, when you need your linchpin to survive in garage, you bring the Doc. We've seen that from a lot of teams, not just Reciprocity, but Evil Geniuses as well. I mean, just across the board, North American teams, pretty committed to that Doc inside the garage. And when you first see it, you gotta imagine, oh yeah, that's less utility overall, but hey, it usually works. We'll see how Mark manages to make that happen in garage this time around. Psycho's gonna use a breaching round early on. So there's no reinforcements on the server wall. It looked deliberate though, in fact was deliberate. As I believe we saw maybe Skies opening up that wall with his shotgun early. So they are deciding to go with the strategy of, hey, that wall being opened is a foregone conclusion. Let's just open it for them and play around the wall being opened, setting up a trap strategy inside of B. That's very reliant on Mark surviving in garage, otherwise there's no crossfire for the defense.
The mirror ban is, and I'm glad that we can actually see it right now, the mirror ban is a great idea from Nip. And if you recall, in one of the final matches in North American Pro League, Evil Geniuses played Reciprocity on this map in particular, and Reciprocity put the mirror window up on the wall inside a garage and had this really wonky mirror strategy that we actually hadn't seen an awful lot of. And the very first round, it worked extremely effectively against EG because EG brought a shield and it was very easy to counter it. And then the second time, EG recovered and were able to best it and essentially break it open. And I think Nip have done their homework on this part and realized that it's not something they particularly want to deal with, and that Nip on their defense can work without the Mira.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the setup is really crippled from the lack of a Mira. I also personally feel like this setup, while really cool, interesting and new, is inconsistent. Minus a Mira also, it's a huge gamble. I'm not sure why Reciprocity didn't just decide to go with something a little bit more of a default strategy. Early pick here for Julio. It's going to be Retro going down, and it's not great for Reciprocity.
I'm fairly certain Retro was trying to impact trick as we heard an impact grenade go off, and then Julio just punished him. And yet again, you've got your hard breacher in the danger zone, able to get the very first kill for your team, as Julio had done similarly on Consulate, if you recall, when Ninjas in Pyjamas were on their attack, taking out Foxay. Foxay will, speaking of, respond. Takes out Psycho, cuts the Ash down, and the Logic Bomb will go off as good a time as ever. 45 seconds left, Michael, for Ninjas in Pyjamas to be able to just barnstorm the site. Wog on the window playing around as loosey-goosey as he can. constantly trying to hop on in. It's Fox who gets flushed out right into the waiting arms of Kamikaze, with Wog still waiting at this window. Laxing going for a flank as Laxing typically does, leaving Skies and Mark to try and hold down on the site. The open hole in Garage will be Laxing's specific focus.
He's actually about to be flanked right now from the bar. It's going to be Thermite, but look at this, only 19 seconds left. So this player really far afield. Pino's going to pick up the diffuser just inside of Workshop. Laxing from the drop down below is going to get Pino. Wog gets Skies though on the entry into site. There's nobody defending Cash right this second. It's all on Mark to deny this plant that's going down from Julio, but he's going to win the fight actually against the Dokkaebi of Kamikaze, and he starts his push into Cash. Laxing from behind will eliminate Julio. It's just Wog on Cash stairs. Definitely a powerful position to be sure, but he doesn't have line of sight onto the diffuser. Laxing could disable while Mark covers. This is a great position for the defense, but Laxing has to read it and start disabling. Here we go. He's finally sticking. There's not enough time. Wag's gotta go for it, and oh no, Mark! What a blunder, but he still gets it! For some unknown reason, Wag does not see the Jaeger of Laxing, decides not to shoot him, and it's a disable. I have no idea what was going through the man's mind.
Hello, Wog? Are you there? Hello?
F in chat for Wog.
Why would you do that, Michael? The people listen to you.
He deserves it.
You're an international sensation.
Okay, stop it.
You know,
No,
what's
but
gonna,
seriously.
you know what's going to happen, Michael? Somebody is going to screen cap this wall of Fs, and they're going to at Kickstart TV, at Intero Talks. Look at what you did.
Wow, why are you saying that in such a mocking tone, Parker?
Look at the chat.
Now I feel like I know who would do that, and now I know why you're saying it in a mocking tone. That's a targeted attack there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna say who, but that's targeted.
F in chat for kicks, please.
What? Wasn't it me? Well, whatever. Yeah, I'll take an F. All right, so anyway, as I was trying to say, what the heck, Wog?
I don't.
Also,
how do you miss that?
Also, Mark.
What
the heck, Mark? Yeah, okay, the first Fs are for Mark. The second ones are for Wog, because you're right, Parker. How did he miss that? He was supposed to be covering the cross.
Wog hesitated so much, and I don't know if there was a drone in there to let him know or not, but Wog hesitated a lot, and then finally Wog goes for it. Now, mind you, he's a 3-speed, but a 3-speed on land isn't that important. It's not like you have to deal with any possible ghosting, hit registration.
There's mixed opinions on 3-speeds at land, but I personally feel like they're less effective on land than they are online. We can carry on with your thought.
Thank you for allowing me to do so.
Yes.
But, I mean, Mark is going to miss that. You know, obviously, the MP5 only does 27 damage instead of 30. Who knows? Maybe if it's 30, he walks away with that one. I don't know. But anyway, how does Wog spend 2 seconds, nearly 2 seconds in sight, and is unable to pick off the defuse?
I have no idea.
I don't.
I have no idea. That was a really perplexing situation for both Mark and Wog.
Yeah.
And it should have straight up been a nip round after Mark missed those shots, but Wog missed more. Whatever, it's done now. People will look at it, I'm sure, moving forward into the ages. For now, though, we have round number 3. Currently, Reciprocity find themselves in a very comfortable position. They did lose map number 1, but already up 2 rounds here on Clubhouse. They're looking comfortable. Now, here's the tricky thing, though. 2 rounds on Clubhouse, they're on defense, so they should be getting these wins, all things considered. And NIP are not really that vulnerable yet. If they lose 5 rounds on attack, then yeah, okay, it's gonna be a bad one. But oh, look at this run-in from Psycho.
Just in and out.
Great information gathering from his teammates, allowing for that kill.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
It's not really a knock-knock joke, more so than anything. But hey, you know what? You know what Psycho's favorite burger place is, Michael? With that kill.
Launching drone.
In and out.
In and out.
I really like In-N-Out burgers as well, I guess.
Dab.
So I mean, they're good. It's fast food. So. I work with this man every day.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Laxy's looking for a run out, and he could potentially get 2
I just got
kills
paid
right
to say dab on a stream.
You're not actually. Whatever. Laxing's looking for a run out. He could get two really easy ones. He goes for one. He gets it. A second not going to happen, but Psycho, aware of his location now, is going to address the angle and see if he can solve the problem. Laxing expecting that. Goes for the pre-fire, just runs away. Reciprocity's actually in a really good position. Despite losing Mark earlier, they only have to defend for 30 seconds. But a push from Psycho, again unmonitored, and that's 3 for Psycho. All of the kills for his team in this round. Retro and Laxing now the last 2 defenders, and they will have to return to site.
Laxing's got a whole bunch of wooden barricades to go with. He's completely boxed out for the time being. It's not like the old clubhouse where he can just go for a very quick rotate outside. Julio getting the diffuser down quite successfully. Laxing might be able to catch this Ash off guard if he peeks around the corner properly. There you go. Say goodbye to Psycho, but diffuser goes down successfully. And where is Retro? Oh, Retro. Top of the stairs, heading up over towards Jim. He's going to get wogged down. And a 2v2 in what is a very tense matchup. The longest gun in the game in the C7E, and Retro might actually win this! Gets Kamikaze down, and it's a big clutch as Reciprocity somehow managed to make it work! Sky shouting to the sky, and Reciprocity will take 3 for the perfect rotation and send it to round 4, perfect on map 2.
Reciprocity with 2 clutches in a row. Parker, remember when I was talking about how sometimes when you get these clutches, as an emotional team, it will build your momentum quite substantially and potentially...
Sky's fired up.
Sky's fired up.
He's fired up.
He's fired up. So is the rest of Reciprocity. After those 2 clutches, there is no way that they are going to lose the mental game moving forward in at least this map. For the duration of this map, they will very likely be in a good space. Because of that, we're probably going to see the very best from Reciprocity that is possible. And having those 3 rounds early on, I know it's defense, I know it's clubhouse, but still, that's got to make you feel absolutely wonderful. They're going to get to go full circle back to the basement, the first site they defended in the first round that they managed to take. That is always a wonderful feeling.
So the perfect rotation.
I honestly thought that round was over as soon as Psycho got the 3K.
The moment I saw the barricade on the door in construction, that Laxing would have to go through, and you had the Ash, not really like you hear the carbine of the Jaeger.
He played too safe.
You hear the door getting shot, and what do? You just sit there and you wait.
He played it too safe, man.
Way too safe.
Way too safe. And because of that Laxing, good game sense to clear that. I don't think he had any information inside of Workshop. He just
10 seconds left.
He was like, oh yeah, there's probably going to be somebody playing here. He was right. He got the pre-fire off. Laxing managed to retake construction or Workshop or whatever you call it, and Retro, I think much more impressive, to be honest, is the way Retro retook from main stairs, because that is not easy. There were several people playing the angle to defeat him. You saw even the Jackal inside a bathroom get as far away from smoke as possible, or actually he was playing mute, pardon me, as far away from mute as possible, and that's the exact right thing to do in that scenario, because the shotgun SMG-11 combo is most potent at close range. But he couldn't get far enough away. He died to the single shotgun blast, and it was a great retake from both Retro and Laxing. Overall, seriously impressive that we've seen all these clutches from Reciprocity. But it's worth noting that they have been clutches.
Yes. Update from our second matchup. So if you're going to complain that we're giving you spoilers, just plug your ears, please.
Spoilers.
I don't know, kind of
5 seconds.
Do whatever. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fnatic is leading 4-3. Thank you so much for listening.
Yep.
How do they know
That's map 2, right?
How would they know to unplug their ears or their fingers from their ears?
Map 2, right?
Unless their ears were electronic and they'd unplug their
Pretty
ears.
sure that's map 2.
Map 2.
Fnatic took them first map, so they're leading not only in that map, but also in the series.
Yes.
Here in this match, Ninjas of Pyjamas leading in their series, but in this current map, really having trouble. Clubhouse seemingly not their wheelhouse and giving them potentially on map number 3. Interesting Ash charge. Trying to do damage, I'm guessing?
Or a bulletproof camera that the
I didn't see
or
one.
the castle had set up before. Well,
There
okay,
might have
so,
been one.
so the last time that Reciprocity was here, there was a bulletproof camera exactly where Psycho was looking on that metal barricade.
Yeah, but maybe
Of course you can't see it because the generator's blocking it, Michael.
Well, whatever the case, an Ash charge used. Skies is going to take out Pino, and you're probably right. There was probably a bulletproof.
I mean, I think Psycho might have been trying to take care of the wall. He might have just simply missed.
Whatever the case be.
As well. But I mean, yeah, you do a tiny bit of damage to Retro, but then you got to dock if you need to. Skies has literally been promoted to dock. For people who don't understand that reference, it comes from the 6 Invitational qualifiers when Easily made a joke that for a lot of these players, they just play Doc when they want to frag out really well, and that you can only play Doc when you're top fragging on your team. Also, is that an impact trick on the church wall, Michael? That will deprive one of the exothermic charges from its intended effect of breaking open the wall.
There is still a Maverick in play, but without the Thermite, it's going to be really difficult to push that in. We don't know if he has any exothermic charges. Maverick's making a whole lot of holes in Church, and that's going to be a really big presence for the attacking team. Ninja's Pyjamas also going to take out Retro, so it's a refrag back. We're on 4-4 now. But look at the time. So much manpower for the defense, and yeah, the holes on Church Wall are going to make this tricky, but oh no, the holes in the Castle Barricade will allow Foxay to get a down, and it will be finished off by Mark. Wag takes out Foxay, Laxing onto Psycho. Wag now going to open up the Castle Barricade, but there's no time. Kamikaze eliminates Laxing. He's inside of blue. An excellent crossfire for the attack, but again, tick-tock goes the clock. Wag will eliminate Sky. He's getting too aggressive. It's just Mark in a corner, but he doesn't need to do anything. An excellent round for Reciprocity, just playing off time.
Nobody puts Baby in corner, and nobody puts Mark there either. No diffuser whatsoever. I don't know if Reciprocity knew that they had full control and they didn't need to worry about the plant going down, but look at that scoreline. 4-0. You can lose the next two. Reciprocity still emerges victorious in this half.
3 clutches in a row.
Not sustainable, if I'm being honest, either.
It's worrisome.
Really not sustainable.
It's worrisome that it's 3 clutches in a row on defensive clubhouse. If these were attack rounds that were being clutched out, it would be insane. The map would be over. It'd be done. Whoever is clutching these rounds on attack on this map, they're going to win it. But 3 clutches in a row on defensive clubhouse, that means that Ninjas of Pyjamas are pushing Reciprocity to the limit, and Reciprocity is skating by. It's incredibly impressive, though. I mean, Reciprocity should have won that last round, to be honest. Ninjas of Pyjamas did not have enough time. That's Nip putting themselves in a corner. But in the previous 2 rounds, it really should have been a Nip victory. We should be in a 2-2 right now, all things considered. But we're not. And Reciprocity will go to a defensive cache again. It looks like they're going to be setting themselves up very similarly to the way they had last time. Or actually, possibly not. They have not brought the dock. I really want to see what the site looks like right now. Because no dock means they might be trying to defend this very much different than the last time they were here. I guess we'll find out when we actually get to the take into the site. But whatever. Castle barricades are going to allow for the roam downstairs, and Psycho, aware of how powerful they can be, it's going to open up one already. Is the wall reinforced this time? That's another question. I just want to... Yes, okay, it's reinforced. It's being bandit tricked. The setup is very different so far from Reciprocity.
Here's the thing. We talked about how good Consulate is as a map for Reciprocity. Clubhouse is not a bad map for them. Don't get me wrong. It's not as... I would still gamble that Reciprocity probably walk away with a victory on Consulate before they would on Clubhouse here.
There you go.
You got it. Look at you.
That's clean.
Doing it upside down for those unaware so that he can't get shot, as a lot of teams will very aggressively camp the bottom of that panel just to shoot you back.
It's technically possible to C4, but you'd have to like hug the holes and you would die to the guy peeking them.
Yes.
So it's really tricky to manage.
I would imagine that very similar to what we saw at a NIP the last time they attacked this site, it'll be a bull rush, get a quick plant down, and then, you know, try and hold the post plant. They failed at the post plant last time, but you got...
they failed spectacularly.
Yeah, it was a pretty abysmal hold.
Yeah.
Long, I just... Still some questions as to what happened there. But you've got a Ying this time, which is going to pay dividends in being able to blind the whole site. I mean, we saw yesterday in the Nora Rengo match, Hungary got a 6-second ace. Michael, you know something about 6-second aces, right?
Well, mine, that was, first of all, years ago, and second of all, 8 seconds.
It was also on plane. Great map. Very well balanced.
Fantastic
but
map.
You got Hungary walked right in with a 6-second ace as Ying, showing the power that you can have. But I would imagine the Reciprocity, if they are aware that there's a Ying on the board, there's probably going to be some juggling of those ADSs for Laxing just to be able to try to cut down on the throwable spam that will emerge from Nip's side of things.
So the roamers are a huge factor for Reciprocity, as you can see. They're trying to deny the vertical play. Nobody underneath Cash, though, so Foxe not going to get a kill. Oh, what a play from Foxe. I spoke too soon, and he eliminates Psycho. Retro follows that up with a kill on Tapino, and that's inside of Construction. The Yingdo still available. Gas canisters to delay, and there might just be 2 more left. Laxing gets a kill into Wag. That's his second in this round. Wag looking the wrong direction as coming down those stairs. Skies also gets Kamikaze. I mean, Nip have just fallen apart. Julio too preoccupied with his flank, and he will lose the fight to Laxing. That's 3 for Laxing in this round. Reciprocity take it, and quite a decisive one. In fact, a perfect round for the defense.
Julio's body hasn't even hit the ground yet, and they've already called a tactical timeout. So
yeah, they called it immediately.
They're flashing the T on the field before kickoff, Michael. Yep. And good time. I maybe would have done it after 4, but I mean, at that point, you lost 4 in a row. Okay. Nip's biggest game right now is going to be mental. Similar to what we saw in the FaZe matchup yesterday, Nip need to ensure that they don't break mentally. Because if you snowball, and that ball keeps rolling down, it turns into an avalanche, next thing you know, you get washed away. Or wiped away, rather. And, I mean, you can try and read as much into body language and animate, you know, the animated expressions, etc. In no universe is Nip happy with where they are right now. Not after as much of a struggle as it was on Consulate 2. In essentially an 8-6 victory is eking out a win at that point, I would say.
I would imagine that the momentum that Reciprocity has accumulated throughout this map will carry on into their second map. I think that this is, or rather their third, I suppose. I think that this is going to be a full-scale comeback for Reciprocity in the long term. I talked about it in the pre-map for this match, actually, how a few clutches here and there for a team like Reciprocity are going to instill so much confidence in the rest of your squad. No matter who you are, whether you're watching it or you're the one actually clutching, it makes everybody amped up, puts you in a great position mentally, and when Reciprocity is on it mentally, they are very fearsome. It's the same thing for Ninjas and Pyjamas. But so far, what we've seen from Reciprocity on Clubhouse makes me think that they're going to be able to take this one. I know they're on defense, but the transition, they're only going to need to win so many attacking rounds. Who knows? If Ninjas and Pyjamas can get their momentum when they switch to defense, we could see a full reverse sweep. It's entirely possible. That's how one-sided Clubhouse can be. Quite easily, in fact. We'll find out, though. We're not there yet. Last defense round from Reciprocity. It's going to be Jim. They have won everything so far, as is evident due to the 5-0 scoreline. Last time they were on Jim, they should have lost it. A lot of free picks for Psycho. He vaulted in through construction window and got a 3K. But following that, it was a clutch from Laxing and Retro to take back the site in a post-plant and win the round.
Swift work of the Castle barricades. Castle's seen such a huge amount of play so far between these two teams. Hey, Michael?
The Castle's very good.
I mean, I find that he has a different flow between regions. He sits somewhere around 30%.
Yeah, no, I think Castle is in a really healthy space. I think that he fulfills a specific goal.
Right.
And there's definitely a lot of people would make an argument for maybe making him more versatile. I personally don't see why, but I understand the argument in that he can be a little bit rigid and he's not universally useful like an operator. Like Legion, for example, we could put the traps anywhere. So yeah.
The only downside to a castle is if you know that your opponents run a sledge religiously. And what?
This again?
Psycho's in and out, and in and out, and the man has a thing for the burgers today, Michael.
He's taken out Mark twice just vaulting in a window.
Walks right in and a 0 heads-up play.
That's just, it's free.
What do you think he gets when he goes there?
What do you mean?
In and out.
I get a hamburger, tomato and spread only.
Okay.
I actually get 2 of those. I get 2 hamburgers, tomato and spread only, and then I get a double meat, tomato and spread only.
Located by attackers.
Because In-N-Out burgers are actually like pizza. You could just put it in the fridge and it's like cold burgers. I know it's weird to think about, but it's really good.
All right. I wasn't expecting as detailed an answers.
I don't know what he gets though. I don't know what Psycho gets.
Well, apparently he likes shark on his burger. He's gonna catch Mark and leave Skies also very low HP. So the first opportunity that Nip has had to be able to keep a close round, appears to be going quite well. But there goes Wog. Here the SMG-11 go off. Foxay gets credited with that very first kill, and Laxing on the stairs to look. He's going to see a pixel angle and rotate on over. Sees another. Oh no! Kamikaze turns his back. Can Laxing go for a second by the jacuzzi? He's going to play really gingerly around the wall as Retro grabs one of his own. And Nip struggling to get in the building. The closest they came was Psycho vaulting in through the window and then back out again. That's an easy kill for Julio to take out Laxing. And unfortunately for Laxing, you play with fire long enough, you get burned. But the SMG-11 proves to be the main kryptonite of Ninjas in Pyjamas on this round. And Sky's letting the goo mine figure him out. It's a perfect round and a perfect, or rather a perfect split for Reciprocity, Michael. It's 6-0. Match point Reciprocity.
I know what you meant, Parker. And you're absolutely right.
Maybe the people didn't know, I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it was very well defended there from Reciprocity. That was not quite the clutch that we saw forced by Ninjas in Pyjamas the last time Reciprocity defended Jim. It was a complete lockout. The only example of Ninjas in Pyjamas having a presence in that round, as you stated, was when Psycho vaulted in through the B bomb site window. And yeah, okay, Mark getting picked off there, that's the second time he's done that. Something that I think Reciprocity could very easily correct by simply positioning Mark somewhere else. But not the case. They're going to keep him there. I would like to see him play maybe on Island. If he plays on Island in the middle of Master, then he can rotate to the windows to play them when it's necessary. But if he just plays next to the windows, he's a free kill every time. Anyway, Laxing having a really good match, as you can see. And oh my, Pino. 0 frags. Pino often relied upon by Ninjas in Pyjamas to be one of the primary fraggers for that roster. Not the primary. You got Psycho as well, but Pino is a very influential figure on this team. And him not performing right now, it's not great. And again, it's not just performing because, oh, he's a support player. No, no, no. Pino is one of the primary fraggers here for Nip. It's not what you want to see. Now, here's the thing. We're going on to the second half now. Finally, Ninjas in Pyjamas get to defend on Clubhouse. This could very easily be the comeback from Nip. I don't see it as likely, though, considering the momentum Reciprocity has.
It's gonna be mighty difficult, just for Nip. I mean, they got 6-0'd by FaZe yesterday. It looks like we're gonna get pretty close to that. I haven't really seen anything that promising from Nip on this match in particular. Nothing for really me to hang my hat on, you know, here. So
it's going to be just early days here for the Reciprocity attack. They're clearing from top to bottom. I like to see this from any team. Good efficiency. They're aware there's a roamer inside a bathroom now that the sprays come out. Foxay's got some cover and the flashes, and it's going to be a blind enemy to be taken out by Mark. Good job there. Kamikaze going down, but Psycho at the same time will get one for himself. The Yokai drones are supporting the roamers here and calling out with the marks. It's going to be Pino looking behind himself, but he will lose the fight to Laxing. Still having trouble finding the scoreboard. Pino will be shut down for this round, potentially his last chance, considering the Reciprocity has the man advantage after clearing out those roamers. Psycho is also stuck inside of Strip Club. Not a great spot to find himself, but it doesn't look like any of the attackers are aware of this. Ninjas in Pyjamas are stacking heavy on the off-site presence. You can see Julio playing on main stairs, looking to get some frags and bring his team back into the round. Slow going here for Reciprocity. They're nowhere near the bomb site currently. They're just adjusting to change that right this minute.
Double shotguns as well remaining on Nip's side outside of Psycho. So Wog running the Supernova. It's going to have the bearing as a secondary, so there's still going to be firepower there, Michael, if he needs it. But he's going to prompt a closer range engagement. You've also got the smoke of Julio, who's going to be about to pressure Foxay inside a kitchen. And there's no ability to trade. Wog is going to be scoping this out, and Julio realizing it's time to get back to the site. Psycho in a position to possibly get a kill of his own. He's going to get droned out. No cloaking ability active. He's going to be in a heads-up contest with Mark. See if that pair is going to be able to outduel the K1A as a rotate opens up inside a stock. But it's full control for Reciprocity. Plan going down from Retro as Foxay finishes off Psycho. Julio will be nowhere to be found, and Mark looking for another kill on to Wog. We'll have to deal with the bearing 9, but but won't deal with it at all. And it's a perfect map for the North Americans. Reciprocity fired up after that one, and it's 7-0 to send us to border. And we'll have a third map between these two teams. Michael.
Man, the momentum from Reciprocity is going to be ridiculous going into map 3, and that was a very one-sided affair. You don't often see the 7-0s, but I'm not terribly surprised based on what we saw in the early rounds of Clubhouse. After those clutches, Ninjas of Pyjamas just were no longer present in that match.
I haven't looked at the better scope of the stats between these teams and NIP in general, but my gut feeling based on the previous map and then the previous matchup against FaZe, Pino has had an extraordinarily disappointing performance, which is very odd when you look at how he's done online. He comes in the top 5 best performing players in his entire region.
Yeah.
And he has been completely absent from most of the FaZe match, if I recall correctly, and now especially Reciprocity.
Yeah, statistically about top 10, top 15 best players in the world, that's Pino. And the fact that he just hasn't been... I mean, he's non-existent. That last match, I don't think he got a kill.
No.
I don't think he got 1 kill that last match, so that's tricky, guys. That's really not a good result from Pino. And I mean, okay, yes. Parker, on that note, we saw Ninjas of Pyjamas take map number 1. But why? Psycho dropped 19 kills. That is 2 players' frags on 1 man. And he had to do that because it was well, first of all, it was a long match, but also, second of all, not a whole lot of contribution where the frags are also supposed to be coming from on Ninja Pyjamas. So I think going into map number 3, if we see a little bit more activeness from Pino, we might see Ninja Pyjamas take it, but I don't know. That last map, I don't see Reciprocity slowing down after that. I mean, they've got to be in such a good place mentally.
So Border is our 3rd map, and before we really dive into this, spoilers here, so feel free because we just got the call now. It is not just match point, Michael. It is series point Fnatic up 6-5 over FaZe on map 2. 1 round could separate the Aussies from the playoffs on Friday and guarantee that the very first team to make it to the main stage will be an APAC team.
Do not miss the match that is going on right now on the A stream. Seriously, very exciting.
Please stop telling the people to ignore us, Michael.
That's what I'm saying, Parker.
Please stop.
It's a good match. You should be watching it. Oh, also, this is a good match. We're going to map number 3.
This is a good one.
This is a really good one.
All right, let's break down Border between Reciprocity and Ninjas in Pyjamas. Now, I want to... Sorry?
Nothing.
Did you say?
Nothing.
Okay. It's strange because I'm trying to remember the last time that I was convinced that NIP really played Border and played it well. But that's going to be an interesting one.
Border's a really complicated map. I think it's complicatedly simple, as much of the oxymoron that is. It's probably one of the oldest true competitive maps in Siege, and that it is a DLC map. It came out with the 2nd DLC, but it's really ingrained in esports for Siege. It's considered by many to be the DE Dust 2 of Rainbow Six. It's kind of the staple of competitive play here, and not everyone likes playing it because it can get a little bit old, but there's always something new to be found here. Little things and little ways that you can change your basic attack strategies or defense strategies on this map to give yourself an edge. And I find that often the teams that are coming in more prepared for Border are the ones to come out on top. And of course, it always comes down to preparedness. But the in-match rotations are also going to be less relevant here because almost everything is known on this map except for the small adjustments. So you're going to have to give some kind of special flair to your strategies here on this map if you want to have a distinct edge over your opponents. And you're never going to have results, or at least very rarely will you have results like what we just saw on Clubhouse, because I don't know of a team that isn't good at playing Border.
It's just also that Border has a third and fourth site that teams have a way to crack, especially if Mira is banned. That makes customs holds very difficult. It also makes, bathroom tellers holds really hard. And then you see teams run operators like Frost and Capkin, and every now and then you might even see a Cav on Border if somebody really wants to be wonky. But the way I see it is it's like, you look at the bans so far for Reciprocity, okay? Because I think Reciprocity is going to be going into this matchup with a massive advantage. Now, obviously, there's a break here. Teams are going to get up. They're going to go use the bathroom. They're going to get some water. They're going to be able to confer with their coaches. They're going to be able to actually recenter themselves. That's a benefit for NIP, given what just happened. It's an absolute war zone. It was a shellacking, and NIP were the beneficiaries of a pretty big butt whooping, if I can say that on the stream. But Valk was banned both times. It's a direct counter to Psycho in the way that he plays it. We've seen him get clutch aces, and we see that information be incredibly powerful for NIP. Valk is not always a common ban on Border. Not as much as Mira, not as much as Echo, but do you as Reciprocity roll the die on that and say, hey, we've had success twice, do we do it again?
They do.
Yeah.
No, they do. I mean, it's also Reciprocity's most banned defensive operator. Aside from being a direct target ban on NIP, they don't like playing with Valkyrie in the round, and I totally resonate with that thought process. The way that Reciprocity has been playing, I think Valkyrie would not necessarily assist them much on defense, whereas it definitely is going to be great when they are attacking, not having to think about it. I mean, they haven't been bringing IQ very much, and they don't need to bring the IQ because there's no Valkyrie. I mean, the Echo is definitely a factor when he doesn't get banned, but again, Ninjas in Pyjamas' most banned defensive operator, it's Echo.
Yeah. Interesting the flexibility both of these teams have. I think a lot of it will also come down to comfort bans and comfort picks more than anything. Both these teams need we remind you fighting for their lives here to survive and make it another day at the 6 Invitational. On the line is an opportunity to play the loser of the Fnatic FaZe matchup. And, well, right now it does appear that we're actually going to go to overtime between these two teams, as it's now 6-6.
Really?
The round just concluding. So,
damn.
Yes, indeed, there will need to be 3 more rounds. Might need a third map as well in that contest. But regardless, Group A proving to be as exciting as a lot of people anticipated this entire tournament would be, and FaZe fired up, obviously, after that round win with Fnatic having the game on match point. So we look at Border here. Reciprocity have never lost, or rather Skies in the core of this team, have a great record against Latin America teams. Skies in particular is a perfect 100% success ratio to Latin America teams. Ninjas in Pyjamas at the previous 2 majors made it out of groups both times, and on top of that, made it pretty well. It was a quarterfinals exit at the hands of Evil Geniuses in Paris, and then it was a semifinal exit to G2 in the last Invitational.
Reciprocity are also currently 2-0 on Border for this current Pro League season and the qualifiers, and they've only banned it 3 times, whereas Ninjas in Pyjamas have banned Border 4 times and are 1-1-1. So a much more mixed result here on this map. And I think going into this, you could say pretty confidently that Reciprocity have the edge, and it could come down to the fact that they maybe won the ban phase. But we're yet to see that. And I mean, honestly, going into the FaZe NIP map, for example, I figured that we would see Ninjas in Pyjamas take it because they seem to have won the ban phase. But FaZe caught us all off guard with the way that they played their bans, and the maps ended up coming out to be ones that FaZe were very comfortable on. So, who knows? The record currently gives the edge to Reciprocity, but anything is possible. And we will load into Border. Reciprocity starting on defense, and Ninjas in Pyjamas on attack. Reciprocity also having the edge in that regard, in that this is a defender-sided, as are all maps. But, I mean, I know it didn't really work out the way I was trying to say it. I kind of stumbled over it. Anyway, 55% win rate for the defenders on this map. We're going to start with a Monty ban, and that's the same thing that Reciprocity banned last map. I think that's smart. Monty always useful, and the fact that Reciprocity have been winning a lot of their gunfights on defense, I would imagine NIP would want to bring the Monty here.
Yeah.
Dokkaebi. I like that.
So they banned the Blackbeard. Ninjas in Pyjamas banned the Blackbeard against Reciprocity on Consulate. And what ends up happening, they get felled by a Dokkaebi. So what do? They ban the Dokkaebi this time around, which is going to allow either Laxing or Retro to play on that Blackbeard. A Mira ban comes out from Nip, and this has got to be a Valk ban here.
Yep.
There you go.
So, Valk being banned for every single one of these maps in this best of 3, all from Reciprocity. Mira being banned for the 2, last one we saw, and this. And then Monty being banned for 2 as well. Dokkaebi being finally taken out, as it has been proven that this Dokkaebi is a force to be reckoned with on in the hands of Reciprocity, specifically Retro. Overall, these bans making a whole but ton of sense. And we will go to Armory. Curious that both Maestro and Echo are available, and they have not been picked by Reciprocity, going for a pure fragger lineup here. As you can see, Vigil, Pulse, Bandit, Jaeger, Smoke. Very little counterplant utility. Pulse, of course, is going to be a factor vertically. Smoke, the horizontal anchor hold. But here's the thing about Border. It's really easy to displace the roamers downstairs and deny a a pulse from, oh wow, is this the triple? Oh, that was beautiful. Okay, it's really easy to deny the pulse downstairs C4ing from below, because it's a very shallow building, all things considered, and if you just open up a few windows and doors near the front, then Pulse is not going to be able to deny the plant within A. This is interesting. It looks like they're opening angles so that they can play below and shoot people who are pushing in through that armory wall, or vice versa, who are pushing in from below. I really like that setup there from Skies. That's a good amount of control just from some shotgun blasts. If they have somebody playing underneath, and they will, because, hey, Pulse.
Typically where Foxay is going to play, he's going to play probably over on Workshop side of things. It's also going to allow somebody to play Bunker, though, right? You can have somebody play Bunker or half wall there and be able to look down through the holes and offer all that control, as exactly you mentioned.
So, actually no presence right now by Ventilation for the defense, it looks like. Somebody in Workshop, it seems, but very light presence downstairs. And I mean, it's exactly what we were talking about. Psycho's, oh, this is a good drone here from Wack. He's gonna lose a Twitch drone though. That's not great. Twitch drone's very useful. I'm curious why they're bringing Twitch when there is no Mira. They banned Mira, Ninjas of Pyjamas. So they should be aware of this, and they maybe bring Thatcher. Quite a lot more useful. With only one Twitch drone, Wag is going to have to hit the mark with this in order to take out the Bandit batteries. Either that, they're going to have to rely on vertical destruction. Did you miss that one, Parker? Speaking of vertical, it's going to be Psycho eating some shots downstairs and Ventilation as he's pushing in. Falls back with only 25 HP.
Exactly as we mentioned. You shoot out those holes in the floor, you're able to look through them as you sit up top and have a great view all the way down. Oh, that was Laxi coming very close to being able to pick off the head of one member of NIP through those two windows that lead into that main lobby area, so to speak. NIP have really taken a bit of a gamble to try and get into the building and haven't been able to find much success at all so far doing it. They're going to rotate and head on over towards the armory wall and then put pressure up on vents outside. This is decent control for NIP for the time being, but they haven't been able to find a single kill to start off with. Yeah. Wog also, as you mentioned, that Thatcher pick, Wog has played Thatcher a couple times. It's
right.
An operator we can flex onto, but if you're going to flex on him, the F2 is a pretty good gun to do it with.
The vertical destruction did manage to deal with the Bandit battery, so at least the objective is done for Ninja Spam as they can open up that wall. It's already open, in fact. Now they've got 40 seconds to use that open wall. Wack is in a really bad spot. He's doing his best to make it work. Psycho's gonna get a free kill there as he vaults into the B-bomb site. The Reciprocity still has the man advantage, and they're also gonna take out Kamikaze, who's on the floor now. No Adrenal Surge to pick him up, and it's just gonna be Psycho in a 1 versus 4, but he takes out one. Mark the Shark goes down. Nade prepped, he knows somebody's playing. By half wall, that's an easy nade, but it's caught by the ADS. Very little ammunition and time for Psycho to work with. And it's going to be a C4 from below to end it. A great holdout from Reciprocity.
Did you see her go flying?
I did, yeah. She face planted on those lockers. That had to have hurt. He was
Well, I mean,
already
it
dead at
wouldn't
that
hurt.
point. Yeah, she was dead at that
She was
point.
dead.
Yeah. I mean,
in all
if it was
fairness,
a realistic game, she would have lost her legs.
in many
so,
cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe the standard operating procedure is to fly 20 meters up in
the air and scatter yourself over a large area. What?
Just steal my joke like that.
We were supposed to say it together, Parker. You jumped out mid-air on that one.
You got like 20 people in the chat typing cringe.
Do we?
I don't know. No, I'm not looking at chat, Michael. We can't see chat.
Oh.
I'm just imagining that that's exactly what's happening because
It's a good joke.
it was good. It was good. We rehearsed this, Michael.
We don't rehearse these things, but it was a good one. Reciprocity. I'm sorry, Parker. I'm sorry. I stole your joke. I thought we were gonna do it together as a team.
Bomb located by
Reciprocity, having won that first defense in Armory, are now going to go to Ventilation Workshop. So, again, we talked about it in the pre-match. The momentum for Reciprocity not blunted at all by the break in between maps. You could see that they are in a good form here on Border. And again, it really does seem like the record
5 seconds left
is going to be a good reference for the result of this match, since Reciprocity has a 2-0-0 record on this map, and Ninjas of Pyjamas have a 1-1-1 record. Reciprocity are, they seem to be the better Border team, but it's early days. We've only seen one round, so adjustments will be made by NIP, I'm sure. We might see a totally different result, but I would give the edge slightly to Reciprocity in this scenario. Looks like it's going to be an office take here from Ninjas of Pyjamas as they attempt to clear the top floor of the Roamers. There are plenty there. Seeing an alibi being brought by Laxing. And it's a run out from Foxay all the way from Archives, and he will take out Psycho. In no universe should he be able to do that, but he pulls it off. Impressive.
This is Reciprocity, I think, really reading into the way that NIP is playing, and that they've got them on the ropes, so you can take these chances. You can just push in, and be able to bully them.
Yeah.
And honestly get away with stuff that no team should really just be getting away with. I honestly think that's the right way to read it. Good trigger discipline there from Pino as he sees the alibi clone perched atop the cabinet just inside of Archives. He spots the real alibi, of course, because only one of them is capable of returning fire. He's got a frag grenade available, but Mark playing a Jaeger means that there's probably an ADS somewhere, just by that window. I would imagine that's what the drone is going to do. Maybe try to figure out if he can possibly get the alibi, but there goes the hatch, and a lot of soft destruction happening around it.
So,
interesting, Michael.
Very interesting, Parker.
Keep in mind the site is downstairs.
Yeah, it's only the second round here. It feels like this has been a long Border match already for some reason, but no, we're barely into it. Ninjas of Pyjamas, this is probably why, Ninjas of Pyjamas have been having very slow attacks. A little overcautious here from NIP. Not the best droning. They are going to gather the information that is necessary, but it's taking them a whole heck of a lot of time. It's not great. Oh, potentially a free kill for Wag, but he just misses the mark, and Skies will fall back to sight. Good job to Skies staying alive in that round, seeing the drone and not losing it. Did he just shoot his own alibi?
He shot the alibi, yeah, it's okay. But Retro gets a kill and Kamikaze trades it off, so there you have it. All the altercation is going to be happening upstairs inside of Archives as Mark hits the deck yet again. He's just going to crawl his way back into small office. He's got a castle barricade, so he can play freely at the top of the stairs by metal detectors. It's going to be a bathroom take because, well, one member of NIP gets gunned down by Laxing the alibi using the pretty decent and respectable gun. They'll pick up a second on the Kamikaze and Pino, who's not been having the greatest stretch here. It's not going to continue. Laxing puts him to bed. Go night-night.
Okay,
3
stop.
Relaxing.
He's done, though. He is done. And this has been... All right, I think it's about time we start theory crafting that maybe Ninjas of Pyjamas are no longer present in this match. Because it certainly does feel that way. That last round there from NIP, pretty much the same as the first round. They're trying to push from too many different locations. They're droning themselves in. There's no serious strategy being employed by NIP, or so it seems, as they are just kind of all over the place. I don't know. I mean, it seems like NIP have have left the building. And we talked about this at the beginning of the series. Both of these teams, very emotional. When you allow yourself to fall into a slump like this, I mean, NIP haven't won a single round since map number 1, and you're here on map number 3. That's, let me see, 9 rounds in a row for Reciprocity right now. It's crazy. Through 2 maps.
And there's just, the guns have gone quiet for NIP. And they might have burned all their luck in that very first match.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain why, but oh well. You can see if things change, but here's the issue that NIP has, is that if NIP doesn't win early and able to capture that momentum, as we've said so many times, Michael, you end up in a position where NIP just don't have the ability to dig deep and come back.
Yeah.
Momentum-based team, emotional teams, etc. Call it whatever you want, but you gotta win this round in particular. It's a customs defense from Reciprocity.
Lowest hanging fruit that you're gonna get for the attackers. And if they don't manage to win this, then you can imagine it's going to really cost them in the long run. Because that means that Reciprocity is gonna get to go full circle. And wow, you really don't want to see that as the attackers. By the way, when I may say full circle, I mean they will to defend every one of a 3-site series, because you have to defend 3 sites, get back to the first one. Yeah, that's not a great result for the attack. But currently Reciprocity inching their way in that direction, looking very, very strong.
We have an update for you. Keep your spoilers. Spoiler alert. We're going to map 3 with FaZe Fnatic.
Yep.
There you have it.
And it was a really close one on map number 2.
Oh, we are being told that it was an absolute slobber knocker, was the term that I
feel like that's in some way something we just shouldn't be saying.
Why?
I don't know.
It was.
It sounds wrong. Good information you're getting gathered on Foxe, and he's going to be pinched upon inside of break room. He's going to be rotating, actually. Look at that. Allowed to rotate. That was really bad hesitation on the side of Pino, who is playing Ashe right now. If he just opened the wall, free kill there on the Foxe. But no, he allowed Foxe to rotate as a 3 armor, slowest possible operator available, and now he has to continue to deal with a roamer in CCTV. This is really bad coordination from Ninjas and Pyjamas so far in this round, and they need to bring themselves back into the match somehow.
There's a lot of teams that will read into a defense like this, simply take down the castle barricade at the back of Customs, the double door that Skies was looking at, and just walk right in. You've got the entire site.
Speaking of, by the way,
free to you, but Kamikaze off the board, and the only set of smokes for NIP gone as well.
Because he just walked in Workshop without droning it. Wag's going to take down Mark, so there's a refrag in hand here for the attack, and that was one of the roamers upstairs. The other roamer goes down. Foxe says goodbye, and it's all up to the anchors. Without vertical control, this site is difficult to hold, but with only 35 seconds, the defense is still in a decent position.
Pino's got a lot of soft destruction around him to work with, but there's no target.
Does he think somebody's in CCTV still?
I think he might be.
Nobody's droned it.
And this could really speak to the issues that NIP have been having if they don't have drones figuring out where people are.
He's wasting time.
There you have it. Retro takes out Psycho. Wog with 2. Wog with 3 as Julio goes for the plant, but Laxing on the best flank in 2019. An easy 1-tap onto Julio. And he'll go all the way around, and now Pino will need to plant.
Oh no!
Another flank for Laxing. Come on, come now. 3-0 for Reciprocity. The elusive man, nobody can pin him down, Michael.
I think you said it perfectly, Parker. The best flank of 2019 doubles down, and he gets 2. How does it happen?
Michael, not only do we see the hottest flank of 2019, but then we see the new best hottest flank 5 seconds later, immediately breaking his own record.
Laxing a very impressive round. Ninjas and Pyjamas just can't catch a break. The lowest hanging fruit will not be snatched by NIP, and it will be Reciprocity putting 3 together. You can see it on the faces of both of these teams. Reciprocity is fired up. Ninjas and Pyjamas are in the gutter. and it would be a miracle if Nip were to bring it back at this point. It's still only 3 rounds into this match, but it's just the way that it's playing out, you can feel it, Parker.
Can you feel it, Michael?
I can feel it, Par.
I hate that you just said that on a broadcast.
I got dared to. I couldn't not.
5 seconds remaining.
Did Fabian do this?
Yeah.
Did he put you up to this?
Cover the diffuser. Attackers'
Yep.
objective is to locate a bomb.
I tried to,
It was
okay,
Fabian.
Listen.
It was Fabian.
I tried to drop a wholesome SpongeBob SquarePants.
He dared me to do it. I had to.
And what do? You throw it right back in my face. You throw it right back in my face. In front of millions of people.
It felt good. It felt good. It was right. Fabian was right.
Oh, that's a clip. Drone is wholesome casters. Wholesome casters.
All right, so, yeah, Nip, real tricky spot. Real tricky spot here. Team Reciprocity have an amazing match. I mean, Parker, I don't think we've seen so many clutches in succession like this. I mean, it's just one clutch after another.
I don't even know what you do if you're Nip at this point.
Yeah, they keep getting control and losing it.
And the biggest thing with Nip is that it just seems like they're not communicating. Look at that flank that Laxing.
They're also not droning.
We respond with, you know, an incredulousness to what Laxing just pulled off.
Yeah.
He was aided by the castle barricade because there was no visual on him as he rotated out of passport. He gets a kill on Julio. Give Pino the diffuser because he hasn't gotten a kill in a map and a half.
Does he still not have a kill right now?
I don't think Pino has a kill right now.
Do we see the scoreboard? No? Okay, well, we'll see it later then, I guess.
We'll see it at the end of the next round. But he didn't have a kill a round or two prior, so I would imagine that he was still probably quite low on. It's been a rough stretch for him, so give him the diffuser. Wog's gotten 3 at that point. Have him try to figure out where Laxing is, and man, Wog is just looking the one way. Pino is completely exposed the other way, and that's it. That's all she wrote. And speaking of, say goodbye to Psycho. And no. Catch! Foxay tossing up a C4, and Julio will be on the receiving end of that, much to his dismay.
Have recovered their diffuser.
He brought out the beard, but it's an iron sight.
I mean, it's not a terrible iron sight.
No, it's not terrible, but face shield's not going to do too much there. Kamikaze and Pino are down. Wog is eliminated by Foxay. Laxing is there to clean it up. It's 4-0, and Nip are in total and utter free fall. They'll take a tactical timeout, but
I mean, it's good timing.
That's 11 rounds in a row for Reciprocity, and I'll be honest, Nip have barely gotten anything in more than 1 or 2 of those rounds.
Yeah, there's something to be said about the clutch from Laxing being a serious miracle recovery, but you could say the same thing about like 3 or 4 of the rounds on Clubhouse. So many clutches from Reciprocity, and they just keep happening, man. One clutch after another. They never stop. Reciprocity are on absolute fire right now. Somebody needs to put it out. Ninjas of Pyjamas, on the other hand, without a fire extinguisher, this is tricky. And they just, and not only that, but their machine is breaking down. The repairman is not on his way, it seems, and Ninjas of Pyjamas are losing all hope because of that.
How many different metaphors are you going to use, Michael?
At least 2, Parker.
Carry on.
No.
Please proceed.
No.
Please. Okay.
I already used to. We're moving on now. But no, okay. In all seriousness here, Reciprocity are having an amazing match, and Ninja Pyjamas seem to have just fallen off the map.
Can we take a moment to say that they literally took a tactical timeout to sit there in complete silence?
I mean, they had a little bit of a conversation. I think we saw Psycho saying a few words. Other than that, yeah, they're man, you could see it on their faces. They're distant.
They literally take a tactical timeout.
Not figuratively. You should see his face. He's like a dog who knows that he shouldn't have tipped over the trash bin. And you come home and you catch him in the act, and he's just, that's his face right now.
At some point, this cast turned from friendly to hostile. This is a very adversarial zone in which we are in right now.
Oh, shoot. All right, so
They literally took a tactical timeout and spent half of it in complete silence.
yeah, they did. They did.
And I think that really, I mean, obviously you don't want to theory craft too much. You don't want to try to read
10
into
seconds remaining.
the actual emotions of a team, but that's a terrible sign.
5
It's
seconds
tough,
remaining.
as I've been saying throughout the last 2 maps for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Attackers have
They're going to
recovered
try
their
and mix
diffuser.
things up, though.
Attackers have
So,
released
like I talked about, they said a few words to each other during that tactical pause. I'm guessing it was, hey, let's bring a blitz. Julio is known to be a decent blitzer, in fact, one of the better blitzes, so this is potentially going to be very good for NiP if they can use that tool correctly. I can only hope that they're going to stack up together and maybe try and make a concerted effort towards one goal, because we have not seen that a single friggin' time from NiP in this match. They've just been spreading out nice and thin as the attacking team and getting picked off one after another. You just hate to see it, but that's what they're doing. So,
I feel like I feel like reuniting Julio with Blitz is like holy hell, nothing has worked. What do we do at this point?
I'm surprised they don't have a Finka, to be honest.
Psycho could play the Finka.
Yeah, I don't know why, or Pino, because, you know, he's not contributing in terms of kills. He might be able to contribute in terms of utility if you put him on Finka, but I think the thought process right now for NiP is in disarray, and I'm not surprised that that's not the case. But yeah, Finka would really contribute to the shield play. Not here, though. Julio's going to be a little bit cautious. Well, I say a little bit very cautious as he starts to fall all the way back. Foxy will also take out Psycho, who it looked like was trying to vault into Archives without having cleared out Armory Small Office. That's ill-advised. Julio eats a ton of damage there. It must have been a teammate?
Skies is completely out of... NiP is just throwing their lives in at this point. Somehow they're making it work. I mean, Kamikaze doesn't want to lose this. Pino, congratulations.
He's on the scoreboard.
You get rid of Fox, eh?
Hey,
Hey.
he did it.
You got to grab the diffuser, but I was literally moments away from saying, yeah, this game's over. Because, because NiP was literally just running in without droning.
I mean,
they were. It's
how much?
Like,
how much?
Please go on.
No, you.
No, you go on.
That's all right.
I insist.
How much do you think that Reciprocity is going to clutch this out, though?
Right now, I mean, NiP appears like outside of Kamikaze and maybe Pino, that team looks like they're just handing the match to Reciprocity on a silver platter.
It does feel right now. NiP have vertical control. They have enough time to make an attack, you know, be very coordinated. And Reciprocity is pretty far off site, all things considered. They are just handing B to the enemy. But I somehow don't see Ninja Pyjamas taking this. They're planting for free right now.
What?
There's nobody holding
full
B.
control. Look at this.
There's nobody holding A or B. But
Guys, where are you?
I still see Reciprocity somehow bringing this back. We'll find out, though. It's a 3 versus 3 in the post plant.
They have no idea where they are. Pino's watching the doorway. Oh no!
What?
Oh no, Retro! Creep around the corner. Do you see her foot? Yes, you do! Bye-bye, Pino. Retro gets the kill. Looks in for another. Oh! He'll walk away with 2 of them. You said it yourself, Michael, that somehow Reciprocity was going to win this, and now Kamikaze is trapped at the back of Workshop with a castle barricade stopping him. It's going to be an easy clutch for Reciprocity, and it's 5-0. Oh my.
Match is over. You're 5 seconds away from calling it last round, and I think you were right, Parker. Match done. NiP has vacated the building. Reciprocity are on a tear. Retro should have been punished there. He went for the peek, saw the Ash, did not commit to the fight. He should have been re-peeked into and killed.
Wog whiffed 1,000%.
Yeah, well, the Ash was looking at the fully intact main door barricade. I don't know why, but he was. He was staring at it when the castle peeked him.
Maybe he was just thinking, I need out of here. I need to leave.
And then Retro just prone peeks and gets away with it. Look at the smiles on Reciprocity's faces. And the exact opposite. Giant frowns on NiPs. We're going full circle again. We're back to customs. Parker, I hadn't thought about this, but there is potential here for 2 7-0s in a row.
What is? I know. I hate this. I hate saying it, Michael. but I'm about to say it, Michael. What is happening?
Nipper asleep at the wheel, man. And Reciprocity certainly
10 seconds
aren't.
to insertion.
This isn't just a one team is playing bad and the other one's playing all right or slightly better. Reciprocity are on top form. They are playing excellent. They're making mistakes, sure, but
Defuse a bomb.
not nearly, not that many. And Ninja's Pyjamas are all over the place, man. They aren't just making mistakes. They aren't establishing basic strategies and default coverage here on NIP. The basics are out the window. They're playing as 5 individuals against a squad of 5. And you're not gonna win that no matter who you are. NIP need to come together as a team, work with each other to get a round win. Or they can continue on the free fall that you called it.
This looks like, so the first match on Consulate was fine. It was a nice back and forth, etc. Sky,
Fox 8.
50 seconds in, Reciprocity is 2 kills.
All right, so as long as Reciprocity doesn't get ahead of themselves and start doing stupid things and giving away free picks, then we will see this be a Reciprocity round, which means we are in a 6-0.
It's honestly, as a viewer and as a caster, it's
Sad.
it's frustrating to see
yeah.
essentially a team collapse, and not just collapse, but just completely not toss away around. I'm trying to say this without sounding rude, but basically just give up.
They're not
Because
here.
I think that it's just I think that for the most part this is them giving up. Like, look at this, like
That's a trade.
it's a trade, but you have no drones. You don't know what's going on.
In it,
Now Pino is in. He has no drones either. Oh, it does look like there might be a drone onto the smoke here of Skies. Pino's now going to try to rotate around. Wog takes out Foxy. Wog takes out Foxy. There's Skies to trade off onto Pino, and now Wog is left in a desperate attempt to try and keep his team in this in a 1v3 with a Doc. Mark still available. Give extra sustain if need be, providing nobody from Reciprocity decides to throw this away. You called it. You called it last round. This match was sadly, unless something magical happens, this match is going to be over. And
6-0. Sad to see. Sad to see. Ninjas in Pyjamas, if you're a fan of NIP, and there are many.
which I am. I'm a genuine fan of
yeah.
this team.
If you're a fan of, I remember the, was that a jersey? It was like a sweater or the vest way back in like
Paris Major.
Was it Paris Major? I thought it was.
I got a Nip sweater in the Paris Major.
I thought it was in like Sao Paulo. I was thinking about Sao Paulo. Who is that?
Sao Paulo was when they were Black Dragons.
Ah, that's right. It was the Black. Yeah. All right. Anyway. Yeah, if you're a fan of NIP right now, you've got to be, like, I imagine most of them have tuned out at this point. And if I were watching this as a fan of NIP, I certainly would have, because it's hard to watch. It's really hard to watch. And we don't. It's not just NIP playing really poorly. It's Reciprocity playing amazingly well. And so it's the exact opposite end of the spectrum. If you're a Reciprocity fan, this is like candy to your eyes. And yeah, that's fantastic. But it is, despite that fact, still sad to witness. Period. You know, we're watching.
There's no joy like in this.
Yeah.
Like if this was a routine matchup where you could tell that both teams were
It was like a challenge.
mentally in this.
Yeah.
But it's no disrespect to NIP, but it's very clear that they've mentally checked out.
Yeah, and if it were like a Challenger League versus a Pro League team, you know, like a group of Diamond players going against a full squad, like a full Pro League squad, and this was the result that we were getting, I mean, it would be, it would probably be jovial. We would probably just like treat it as it is, right? No surprise. But it's not. This is one of the best teams, not only in Latin America or Brazil specifically, but also one of the best teams in the entire world. About to get 7-0'd twice.
And 3 times, actually.
Well, twice in a row. 3 times total.
If this ends up going in favor of Reciprocity, then NIP will have played 5 maps this tournament, 3 of which they lost 0-7. That's
unheard of, by the way. I think that'd be a record.
That is probably one of the worst performances from a team in groups that we've ever seen.
Yeah. So.
You know, and I don't think Laxing has died yet. I don't think Julio's gotten a kill yet.
We'll find out at the end.
Yeah.
What the actual record ends up being, but yeah, Reciprocity had a good defense half. Maybe they really suck at attacking on border, but I don't see that as likely.
I mean, they do have the added benefit of the side change.
I mean, it's possible that we won't get another 7-0. Like, we could see Ninjas of Pyjamas get 1 or 2 here, but I just don't see a full 6-round comeback. It would be a miracle if they make that happen. And I'd love to see it. I really would love to see it because honestly, it would add energy back into this match, but it's unlikely. Excellent nade there from Skies. They're going to take out the potential jammers or bandit batteries, but there are neither on the defensive side. Both Maestro and Echo are being bought, so there's very little counter utility here. Just indirect denial of the defuse. I like this setup from Ninjas of Pyjamas, but it is heavy stacking on denying the plant.
And look at, I mean, Reciprocity side, they have a lot of utility. Soft destruction, frag grenades. We already saw one get used. You got good guns. They're already so close to being able to push on in. Oh, Fox A sees the Jaeger. Kamikaze takes out Mark, and there's a down from Fox A. Might get pushed from a second angle if Fox A doesn't look to his left towards the doorway. Skies will finish off Psycho. Pino is downed. Yokai drone, not even bothering to reposition the Yokai drone. Laxing gets wogged. Pino is down. Kamikaze and Julia will be there. And man, you got to give him credit. The heart on Kamikaze right now, it seems like the only real pulse on Nip through these two. But there's Julio, picks up his very first kill in a 3v2, what is technically a glorified 2v2, given that Pino has still not been brought back, and a down but not out state. Julio using his Yokai drone. Pino still hasn't been found out, but he's just going to bleed out for the time being. Fox A doesn't know the location of the Echo. He's going to have to pick up the diffuser. You still got Laxing. They got the Commando and the C7E. But this is actually very winnable for Nick. Pino does get finished off. Julio still there. His one Yokai drone. Fox A disoriented, circling around. He'll sprint right in. He knows where Kamikaze's location is. He can't win the fight against Julio. Nip is there, and finally, they will pick it up 13 rounds in a row, and the streak will end. Reciprocity will sit on match point unless we go to overtime for the remainder of this matchup.
Great job to Ninjas in Pyjamas, finally taking a round. You can see there Reciprocity really overthought the way they were playing that round and ended up tripping over themselves, allowing Kamikaze and Julio to lock it out. 3 for Kamikaze, 2 for Julio, and an excellent defense from the two mainstay anchors on Echo and Maestro. We will go now to Ventilation Workshop for Ninjas in Pyjamas, and we will have the second defense for them and their next attempt at bringing this back. It's got to give you a little bit of confidence taking your first round in a long time. In fact, let's see, first round in 14 rounds total. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And not have any rounds.
It's been like, you know, I want to do the today. It's been 84 years.
Yeah. We do the little head backwards. Yeah. No, it does feel that way though. Ninjas in Pyjamas have been on a, like as we said, a free fall, pardon me, and maybe having just stopped it. But is it just going to be a little ledge that they're bouncing off of and they'll continue to fall, or are they finally going to be able to get some footing here and push for a comeback? I mean, that's the only story there is to be had there. That defensive round was just Julio and Kamikaze fragging out. Reciprocity, again, they overthought the way that they were playing that round, and they got caught in some really odd angles.
Like I said, I have so much untold respect for Kamikaze and the way that he's played these last couple rounds. It really looks like he's trying to backpack this entire team right now, and I know that it hasn't exactly been the best run here for Nip over the last hour or so, but man, has he been trying his heart out. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. I mean that genuinely and sincerely to keep the team in this. But one thing worth noting, we said this when Nip was attacking, obviously now they're on defense, and I think it holds true, is that you've still got to have to, you will still have to defend customs, that bathroom site. And that's going to be the best opportunity for Reciprocity. And they'll have 2 cracks at that if Nip goes perfect on their defense.
Those off-sites, really difficult to hold at times. Kamikaze going to be bandit tricking, and actually he might be able to get some exothermic, or well, not rather, Excaros charges, and he will be successful in that endeavor. That's going to assist his team quite a lot. Armory wall takes, rely on hard destruction. No thermite being brought, the Habana being countered. Somebody from Reciprocity needs to go downstairs, and it's going to be Skies to do the job. The marks come out, forcing the bandit to fall back, but the bandit batteries themselves will be taken out by that grenade in all likelihood.
There's a bandit trick there, it sounded like, as well.
There was.
Ozzy, so
Yeah.
a good rebuff. A good rebuff so far from Nip.
I think that would be 2 exothermic sets
Drop the bomb diffuser.
taken out, or rather, again, Excaro sets. I don't know why I'm confusing the two. But the third one will open but a tiny hole. Speaking of tiny, Foxay on 1 HP. Not a great scenario for him. Hopefully he can get reset.
Wait, literally 1 HP as well.
Yeah, we've got a minute left. They could pick him up off the floor. It's a ventilation defense important to remember, and the attackers have been prioritizing armory. This could be an easy kill for Skies, and no, he loses the fight to Julio from above. Great cover for Ninjas of Pyjamas. Vertical play, so relevant because the roamers were unable to be cleared. He goes for a second, and he will just barely get it. Mark the Shark goes down, and Julio on fire. Pino and Wag also get their own kills, leaving just Retro, a last one alive. He'll get one. There's nobody in the site to see, though. Workshop empty. Only one inside of security. He's got full HP. The fuser is down, so he's going to have to pick that up, but he's going the right way. Covered from the drop down and from the site. Not an easy fight to have. He sees the Echo, just barely the head peeking around that corner. Gets the shot, finally, knows one's above, but can't land it, an odd angle, and Psycho will clutch out the round. Ninjas and Pyjamas take 2 in a row.
That perspective is going to make it almost impossible for you to win that fight. They're going to see your lower half of the body before you see any of theirs, and well, it ends up going according to plan. This is the bounce back that Nip needs, and don't ever count this team out. We've said it in the match before FaZe. We said it in the match before Reciprocity. This is a team that is built for conditioning on LAN, and I want to say the ability for Nip to come back looked gone, completely zero, outside of maybe Kamikaze and Pino. But now the rest of the team sees willed into it. Border is not a map where you go 6-0 on one side. It doesn't happen that way. Are we going to see it? It's unlikely. It's still very unlikely. I think you need to mend your expectations and plan them accordingly. And like we said, Reciprocity was on defense. You got to win a customs or a bathroom defense.
And now
could possibly be tough. This is where we are right now. It's been 2 really good rounds from Nip. They've been able to stitch it together. They've been patient. They haven't had to worry about drone work. Their intel and comms seem to have improved immensely. But you're still in a position where you're going to be battling from behind just because the site isn't as defendable as an armory site upstairs and ventilation is on that first floor.
10 seconds
so,
remaining.
Because of that disadvantage, Ninjas and Pyjamas are... I mean, this is it. They make it past this hurdle. Yeah, the comeback is totally possible. But do I see them managing it? Maybe not. It doesn't seem very likely. I'm being honest with you guys. This is going to be a good spot for Reciprocity. I mean, who knows? Maybe Reciprocity isn't comfortable attacking customs. Maybe this is going to be the most one-sided defense win for Ninjas and Pyjamas so far today. We'll wait and see. Psycho's going to be playing on Clash with that fully automatic SMG. Much more viable operator to bring, that's for sure. Pino's already lost quite a lot of HP, about 50% in fact. And because of that, he's going to have to play much better. A lot less buffer space between him and death. Reciprocity have already opened up jail. It's good access. You can cut off rotation between the A and the B bomb site. And it's going to be a rotate into A, but Psycho from above, using a very basic hole to get that kill. There's actually a really good operator put on this position because he can use the shield, but oh no, a plant's going down! Psycho's not watching anymore! The attackers have just doubled down and vaulted through the window! Psycho came off the angle at the wrong moment! Julio will get 2 refrags, but the nade from Skies takes down the shield. Laxing going for an exceptionally long angle, and why? Because the diffuser is planted just inside the window. He can play as safe as he wants to play and still deny the disable. Retro takes down Kamikaze, 1 for Laxing, and it's a 2 versus 2, but Julio on so little HP. An excellent angle from Laxing, but a 1 versus 1. Wag has no ACOG as he's not bringing the MP5, so he's just going to go for a disable. Laxing should hear this, and he should read the situation accordingly. He has to get the tight angle. He goes for the pre-fire, but he runs out of bullets! Oh no! Laxing, what a throw! And Ninjas in Pyjamas clutch out for their 3rd round in a row.
That's a tilter. Oh boy, is that a tilter?
It is.
And that is also, that is a possible game changer, Michael. You complete the rotation, you're Ninjas in Pyjamas, you go back up top to Armory. All of that momentum in which your opponents had over you is gone. It's gone.
Look at their faces.
They call a tactical timeout. We got ourselves a ball game, Michael.
I'm so glad it happened, Parker.
We got ourselves a gosh darn ball game.
Look at Reciprocity's faces. Remember that extreme happiness that they had not moments ago? It's gone. Disappeared. Evaporated. Dust in the wind. And now, as you said it, Parker, we have an actual match on our hands. This means that Ninjas in Pyjamas, much like Reciprocity, will get to go full circle, winning all 3 of their defensive sites. They're going back to their best. It's Armory once again. Here we go. Now,
it's really important that you don't blame that solely on Laxing.
No.
That kind of resentment that festers under the surface that kills a team. And you got to clear your head. You got to approach it round by round. And you got to keep going. It's something that NIP failed to do, and that's why they sunk into that 6-0 hole that they were in. But now Reciprocity's in a 3-0 hole. 2 6-0s. I actually don't think. I could be wrong. I would love it, and I know somebody's going to correct me on it.
Splack.
But I would love it. It's probably going to be Splack. From Seeds GG. I don't think since we changed the rule set, Michael, that we have seen a 6-0 with a 6-0 comeback to send us into overtime. I don't think we've seen 2 perfect sides.
I know I personally have not cast it.
I don't believe I have either. I know that we've seen it on 5-5s.
Yeah.
I don't believe we've ever seen it on a 6-6 where it's 6 on one side and then 6 on the other. I don't think it's happened yet. And it feels like they're starting to get that magic in the background where it's coming, Michael.
10 seconds to
I hate to be the party pooper, but it's going to take one stumble from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Just one over the course of the next 3 rounds, including this one,
Attackers are moving out to locate
for Team
a bomb
Reciprocity
defused.
to take. That's it. One trip up, one mistake that Reciprocity capitalize upon, and it's over. It's high pressure here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Once again, they have brought a Maestro and an Echo, both being unbanned, which is very unusual. Reciprocity are trying to counter that by bringing an IQ. Certainly the right call in this situation. Only thing to counter the Evil Eyes is going to be the grenades from Skies, though, and he's already taken damage.
Julio's been the guy to be very aggressive early on, and actually looks like Skies hit 2 goo mines.
Yeah.
That's what it appears, or there was a goo mine as he was climbing up and he wasn't able to pull the goo mine out of his foot. I'm not exactly certain what happened, but it does appear to be 20 damage that's been done to him. Now, the thing is that NIP has been really aggressive, and if you know that you've angered Reciprocity, both these teams play very similarly, you break them. You get under their skin, you start taking real big gambles, and because they're not thinking clearly, it pays off. It's exactly what Rec did to NIP, and it looks to be what NIP can do back. But as much as we love a comeback, it's still so statistically improbable that this is going to happen. We'll see if it's doable, and I think you need to be a 3-speed to make that work.
No, you could do it as a, I think you could do it as a 2-speed. I'm pretty sure he's already done it before.
He's getting lapped.
I do know that he's wasting a lot of time. Like, that is a for sure thing.
Yeah.
He's also looking too much to the right. He keeps angling his mouse to the right.
Yeah.
Because you need to get it like as close as possible.
He's not going to give up.
He's just going to keep going.
He's going to keep going.
So we're just past the half round mark, guys, and this is called. Oh,
there
he did
you
it!
go.
He did it!
Hey, he did it! He did it. Correct.
And there's no one to nade.
Yeah.
So good job, Skies. He managed it. There's also an ADS, but Thatcher should be able to take care of that.
It's a second drone here as well, it looks like.
Exothermic charge does go off there, so access to offices is a guarantee. Good calls there, using the marks from below. Laxing's just barely not doing damage. He needs to get a better angle for that.
I think he's
Laxing, though, is inside. What has just happened? He got 1 kill, and that's his second. Julio's gonna shut down Retro, who's trying to follow it up. Retro gets a Claymore kill, and Foxley with a third. It's just Julio on match point. He's gotta get 4. He gets 1. An excellent headshot there. He's gotta hold out for 30 more seconds. The diffuser's going down, and it's deep inside of Armory. But look at that, the marks are coming out. Why? There's an Evil Eye in sight. This could be a clutch from Julio with all of this information. It's going for a long play, taking a huge risk. So far from sight, not making any active moves just yet. He has an impact. The vault is successful, no Claymore, but he doesn't see anyone. He's running out of time. He just doesn't have playing angles as an option. Goes for the rotation to the main hallway, and he is cornered. 3 different people look in his direction, and Skies will shut him down. Reciprocity, lock it out, and win the series 2-1.